The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Today's Wednesday.
Oh, is that today? Wasn't really thinking about it.
When times are tough and when you're hungry, you'll do anything for a hot dog.
I have
No, I won't.
But the only reason we've got sails on the ship and the ship is ship-shape, Keir Starmer took the vessel from the shipwreck in 2019, rebuilt it and made it ship-shape and seaworthy again.
Fox was hospitalized last year. Excuse me, I have the hiccups, y'all. Fox telling a group of people about the moments that led up to the health crisis.
Hey, it gets a little cuckoo. We're open today. Come and see us. Get here. However you get here, drive your Volkswagen, steal your neighbor's Z71. Come and see us.
Hump day.
It's showtime, baby.
You see that?
Oh, man.
You see how far my microphone was away from me? Who the hell comes in here and moves our what do we call these things again?
It's a microphone.
They moved it so far away that when Wapple, you saw it?
Yeah,
When we started the show, I had to damn near cross the room. I had to damn near get out of my chair to go fetch my stinking live microphone.
There's two things that cracked me up immediately. Number one was this obvious ripoff of Welcome to the Jungle that for some reason we can play. We can leave this as licensed.
Oh,
and then watching you grab your microphone.
That's terrible.
That was good.
Boy, you really had to reach for that.
Jesus Christ.
Is your arm good?
Pull something.
Probably going to have
You ripped
to.
a lat.
One of my lats has busted loose out of its moorings after reaching that far across the room. What a situation we have here. The halfway point, huh, Cubby?
That's right.
Does that give
Everybody
you
feeling good? Everybody feeling good about that?
Well, I wanted to ask you, does the halfway mark, does it give you any kind of a feeling?
No, not really, I guess. It does seem to be going kind of quick this week.
Are you cautiously optimistic that we make it through the rest of the week alive?
No, I'm fully optimistic.
Good.
I am not cautiously at all. I think we're going to do fine.
That's good to hear.
We've got a state fair to go to on Friday.
Yeah, you're like...
We still have a booth?
Pardon me now?
I'm sorry?
Do we still have a booth?
Yeah, they put it together again last night.
They put it all back together. Okay, good.
Wasn't that big of a deal? The storm blew some stupid T-shirts that no one's going to buy anyway.
Yeah, pardon the pun, but it was blown out of proportion a little bit yesterday. And people are like, oh, my God, your booth is down. It's terrible. And I was texting back and forth with our promotions folks yesterday, and they're saying, yeah, you know, there's a lot of wet T-shirts and things. Well, hey, now. And things were blown around in the tent. Our booth was fine, but in that tent, there was a little bit of issues, but they got that straightened out pretty quick.
All right, so you're fully optimistic. Welcome to the damn program, the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show, Wednesday.
You're not nervous, are you? I mean, you asked me if I'm cautiously optimistic. Are you?
I hadn't really thought about it. That's why I was asking you.
Oh, yeah, I'm all good.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel until I read you.
Yesterday, I did something I haven't done in years. I haven't done it in years.
Can we guess?
Well, I told you, so you know. But pretend you didn't know the answer to it. What would you guess?
Well, we were talking a little bit off the air, so I'm going to go ahead and say that the answer is go to the airport.
Nope. Unfortunately, I've had to do that quite a bit recently.
All right.
Not a fan. That's a stressful situation.
Something you haven't done in years, and you claim to have given it away while we were talking off air. Oh, Christ. Now, if I don't have the answer, he's going to think that I don't pay attention to the conversation. You're going to think that I don't listen to you when we have conversations off the air, which is 100% inaccurate. The word I'm looking for is I cherish our on and off air conversations. Go ahead. I don't remember what you said, so
I got to guess.
Huh?
He finally pumped some iron again.
No, I pump a little iron here and there. So this is a guess from a listener. Sex. Nope. Although I thought I was going to get some last night. I'll have to explain that to you.
You sure as hell?
I was going to guess internet pornography. I've
never really done that. I've seen it from friends who have bombed my phone with
something he's never done before. Where he's going with this is something that he has done before, but he hasn't done it in years.
Who finally went number 2?
You're close. I urinated into a cup in my vehicle yesterday, and it's been a long time, a very long time since I've done that. I was at the airport, and I'm waiting to pick up my kid, and I'm sitting in a parking lot. It was delayed. I'm sitting in the parking lot, and I just got done drinking a giant pop. And so I was 40 minutes into it as I'm sitting there. I realized, oh, no, I got to go, and there's no place around to go. And I was right next to the airport. I didn't want to lose my spot.
Jesus, this kid of yours made you wait over 40 minutes for them at the airport?
Well, the airline. It wasn't her deal. And so I was sitting there, and I'm like, thank God for illegally tinted windows, because I was able to go right in that cup. I got a little nervous towards the top, because as you guys know, I can fill some volume when it comes to that. And so towards the top, I got a little nervous. But I kind of felt like a teenager again. It's been so long since I've done that.
Did you take it home with you? Did you dump it out the door when you were done?
I did. I brought it in case you guys wanted to see it.
So you put the cap on it? Oh, a cup.
Yeah, it was like a Chipotle large pop thing.
Couldn't you and your passengers smell it?
Oh, it's just me. I mean, I dumped it out before I picked her up, although she would have thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, you dumped it out before anyone got in the motor vehicle.
But I was, I don't know if you guys do this the older you get. Sometimes if there's a situation like that, I try and picture the headline. Grown man caught urinating in his vehicle, waiting for a 22-year-old girl to step off plane. I kind of try and think, like, could this be a headline?
And,
is this going to ruin my life? But there was nothing I could do.
And being parked in line there at the airport, you were under surveillance.
Well, it wasn't actually in the line. It was a parking lot just adjacent to it, right?
Well,
but there were other people. I parked as far away from other people as I could. And like I said, I mean, if you can see in my windows...
You have illegally tinted windows.
Very, very, very dark. And this is the third time I've tinted them, because I tested the waters with a little bit of illegal tint, and then I went middle ground, and eventually it's limo.
It got out of control.
It's ridiculous.
And I think it's interesting to point out, I don't know if we've discussed this yet live on air, why your windows are so heavily tinted. Isn't it because you just don't feel comfortable people looking at you?
Well, kind of. It was more, there's a particular area on the way in here this morning where people will come up to your vehicle when you're at a red light, right? And just kind of, mess with you.
You get this a lot? You get to a red light and people walk up to your vehicle?
Quite a few times, yeah. Quite a few times at a particular area.
And so you just don't want these people to... Is it like...
I've been left alone now. Versus like folks coming up.
Yeah.
If they're unable to see,
they don't know what's going on in there.
Yeah, if they're unable to see who's behind the wheel, maybe they'll assume the worst and not want to mess with you.
Yeah, and I was told, hey, you want a window tint prescription? I got a guy. Like I met a guy. I felt like I was meeting a guy in the back alley. He'd given me a hastily written phone number, so I went to the guy, right? The guy's like, yeah, I don't do that. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, well, no, I've got a eye condition. Wait a minute, write me that thing in case I get pulled over.
So he was kind of keeping it on the down low?
I don't know if the dude, he said, there was a time when I could do something like this. I can't do it anymore. So I ended up paying for an eye exam and, got a new prescription.
You've got a big, beautiful truck. I mean, you had plenty of room to urinate in a cup. You could have laid down to do it. You could have stood up.
Yeah, you could live in that truck.
Yeah, it was no problem whatsoever.
You could have stood up.
The mechanics were very easy, and I wasn't too worried about anybody seeing. Like I parked towards the end, and it's so dark, that tint.
Well, at least you got it in the cup.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. I said, towards the top, I worried about it.
You know the story of my failure to execute an in-car urination from a number of years ago. That was embarrassing. But as far as I know, nobody noticed. I don't know how they didn't notice. I just soaked myself in my own urine.
Just like a fire hose.
It was great. It was. It really was. It was horrible. This was many years ago. God help us. I mean, I was such a heavy drinker at one point in my life that I was in Bloomington.
Oh, man.
Were you at like a Bennigan's?
No, it was a well-known joint It had like a Caribbean vibe or something off of Normandale Boulevard. It was there for years. Billabong.
Billabong. Yeah, off 494.
494.
Yeah, I used to go there quite a bit.
Is it at Normandale?
It's a little east of that, yeah.
Okay, right. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. We used to go there all the time.
That's how, how easily I would throw all of my morals out the window once I had a few beers. I went to Bloomington, and I hate that town. Hate it.
I like Bloomington.
No one likes Bloomington. So I find myself at this Billy Bong's, and I'm drinking a lot, and hit it off with a lady. She lives nearby, and she says, let's wrap up these beers and go back to my place. And I agreed. Don't call the cops. Yes, I did drive drunk from Billy Bang's or whatever it was over to this gal's apartment. It was a couple miles away. Sorry, I've learned my lesson. I don't do that anymore, but I was young and wild. So
I'm sorry, just to interject real quick. I drove drunk a couple times. Back in the day, you knew it was wrong, right? But it didn't seem like as big of a deal as it does today. I don't know. Maybe just that's getting older. But Bloomington is also, the 2 times I ever drove drunk were in Bloomington, and that was the last time I ever drove drunk because I ended up parking in the middle of the street and trying to get into a friend's house, and I was across the street from where hung out with this friend almost every single day in Bloomington. So that's where I decided I got to quit. But it's interesting that was Bloomington too.
I think it's because when you enter the city limits, you say to yourself, I can't get any lower. What does it matter what I do?
Maybe that's the case.
So this gal tells me, let's go back to my place. She gives me the address. She says, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And I said, great. So I leave. I get to her parking lot. And like I said, I was intoxicated. And as I pull in and find a parking spot at her apartment complex, there is a police officer parked in the lot. Okay. A little nerve-wracking, but I'll just sit here. I'll make myself invisible. I won't draw any attention to myself. And I'm sitting there. 10 minutes go by, 20, 30, 40. And this gal hasn't showed up yet, and the cop is still sitting there, and I gotta take a squeege. I mean, I've been drinking beer all damn day. So, finally, I find an empty Mountain Dew bottle or something in the vehicle, and I just told myself, I have to do this. I have to execute the in-car whiz. I have to do my best to stay unnoticed by the cop.
Wide mouth?
No.
Those saved me back in the day.
No, it was just your typical.
Oh, that's almost impossible.
That's a tough shot.
So I haul it out.
And I'm small.
I haul it out and I press her. I press it as close as and I just made an unbelievable mess. I had, a little twitch, and it got loose. And then I'm going on my shoes, on my own pants. It got up on the dash. It got on my shirt. It was horrible. Horrible.
Do you think if you were sober it would have been the same, or do you think the drinking had a lot to do with it?
Good question. I think even sober I would have had trouble.
That's what I had assumed.
Because it was ready to go. It's not an easy thing to do.
And you're right. If you've been holding it for a while, that's going to come out quick.
I soak myself and my motor vehicle in urine.
Ah, no.
Here comes Miss Fancy Pants, who promised me a hookup at her apartment. And then the cop leaves. So now, okay, I'm free to get out. But I'm questioning, do I even approach this woman now? I'm covered in my own urine.
No.
I did. I said, yes, I did. I got out and I don't know. I don't remember if I sold her on any story. I think I just kept my trap shut and hoped
that's what I'd do, yeah.
And hoped that she wouldn't notice, and she didn't. And I'll tell you what, right now, Wapple, are you listening? Mm-hmm. We got it on. Nice. We got it the F on.
See, you and Fancy Pants got it on.
My boy Nick, he can close a deal. It doesn't matter how much urine his or whoever else's is on him. He can close that deal.
Well, look at him.
A lot of people have, it seems like even recently, had to do the same thing and take a leak in their vehicle or go to the bathroom in their vehicle. Steelers fan Jesus said he had somewhat of a same experience just this last weekend. He had to use his truck as an emergency bathroom. He mentioned everything went great until he realized he had nothing to wipe with. Door swinging truck driver Jesus said, now I'm a real trucker now that I peed in my vehicle. Dead hauler Jesus said it's a daily ordeal for him. Atheist Jesus said he pees in a big gulp cup while moving in his garbage truck 5 days a week.
Yeah, if you got a certain type of a gig, driving and such, you got no choice. It's a daily thing.
Catfishing Jesus also appreciates his tint for the same reason. He can take a leak in a Gatorade bottle when he has to.
And, I remember that night I was upset with myself that I couldn't handle the in-car urination in a plastic bottle because when we were little kids, we did it all the time. We'd go on these long fishing trips and whatnot with the old man where we would just be lying in the bed of his pickup. Number one, I'm telling you, our parents, it was always safety first, wasn't it, Josh? Always. We go all the way to Canada, and my brother and I are lying in the back of my dad's, pickup bed. Yes, a topper. Yes, he had created little beds back there for us to sleep on, but it's something that never entered my mind now. But, I mean, for Christ's sake, what if we would have gotten in a terrible car wreck?
Yeah.
We would have been in pieces, for Christ's sake.
Or even just like a deer or something like that, too.
Well, sure, a car wreck, a deer can cause it. But when we were a kid, I could ace that every time.
Oh, could you?
The old man would never pull
Even
over.
while going down the road?
Yeah.
Yeah, few people are saying that you haven't peed in your vehicle until you've tried to do it while driving. Now, that's something I've never done.
No, I haven't tried that.
That would make me a little nervous.
That's truck driver stuff right there. If my old man was still alive, I bet he could tell some stories on that.
And I was thinking back more Bloomington. A buddy of mine, he got a D-dub in Bloomington.
Bloomington sucks.
Last time I was pulled over, knock on wood, it was 1999, but it was in Bloomington. Maybe you're onto something.
I know I am.
Maybe you're onto something.
It's just a shady place, and it makes even straight-laced sumbitches like you, Josh, act shady.
Although, I got to say, their chief is one of the funniest chiefs in the history of police chiefs.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Booker Hodges? Yeah, have you seen? He's kind of he's like one of those Florida sheriffs, right? Like Grady Judd or something like that. Super, super funny dude. I love that guy.
He likes to make cute comments on social media.
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah, he'll post videos, and he loves to just give criminals hell, right? I love that kind of thing.
Yeah, you get a kick out of that kind of a... All right. You heard some television news bloopers to start the program there. A walking, talking television news blooper. Janelle Klein will be stopping by around 7:30 this morning. She'll be stopping on by. Am I the only one who wonders what she sees in us?
Oh, dude, not at all.
I have no idea.
Since day one. I remember when we first heard she wanted to come on the show, I thought it was a joke. Like, Janelle Klein? No way. Yeah, I don't get it.
And she keeps coming back, too.
I know.
She pretty.
Very pretty.
She's well respected in the television news business. She's
classy. She's bright.
Mm-hmm. She's got all her own teeth.
As far as we know.
Josh, you used to be the upstanding citizen on this here radio program, and even though you still live the straightest life of any man I've ever known, Janelle still finds a way to outclass you.
Well, I don't think it's that tough to do. We do joke that we're very similar in a lot of ways. Just our lifestyles.
Yes, you are.
That.
The two of you are. Ever tell you about the time I met a couple of her guy friends? I mean, this will give you even a better idea of how Janelle's not like the rest of us.
No.
Did I ever tell you about when I met a couple of her guy friends?
No.
Oh, I bet they wear like wingtip shoes. They just got the fanciest hair, nice suits and everything.
I don't know anything about shoes, but wingtip, is that something?
Shoes.
Is that a fancy current thing, or did you just...
it was on Grand Theft Auto. Cost a good couple $100.
Okay. Dang.
So wingtip, I can say that, and people will know I mean classy, pricey.
Yeah, I don't own a pair. Yeah. I don't own a pair.
Good. It just sounded like something out of 1955 there. Wingtip shoes. I didn't know if it was still... So, yeah, a number of years ago, Janelle and I are texting back and forth like on a Saturday night, and... We found out we were in the same neighborhood. So I said, I'll swing over to where you're at just to say hello. And I walk in, and there's Janelski and two dudes. And the first thing I thought was, what's Janelle doing hanging out with 2 members of Duran Duran? I mean, like Wapple was alluding to, and some of you who are a little younger are saying, who's Duran Duran? But I couldn't come up with a better, give me an example of a hot boy band.
Today? I don't know.
Sure.
Oh,
I can't.
We'll stick with Duran Duran.
Or go like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys.
These guys were so perfectly put together. Their hair, their clothes, wingtip shoes.
By the way, you're not wrong, Wapple. I was looking up wingtip shoes. My God, they're expensive.
Yeah, and they're just stupid shoes.
You can always just throw them over your fence line if you get in a tough spot. That's an old story, a reference to an old story where I flipped out over a pair of shoes. Just throw them over your property line, and they're no longer your problem. So I walk into the bar, and here's Janelle standing with these 2 members of Duran Duran. And when as you might have guessed, when I walked up and said, "What's going on?" to Janelle, they backpedaled like I had a weapon in my hand. Just because they didn't know. She must not have said, "Hey, a friend of mine is stopping by." They were just...
They're used to a higher tax bracket caliber of person.
Yeah. This guy's from the wrong side of the tracks.
I was, filthy and half intoxicated like I was a lot back in those days. At any rate, I ended up having a great time. These guys were very, very nice. Just at first, they just weren't used to something as ugly as I am approaching their friend Janelle. And I think they got a little protective, which I can totally understand. Ended up being nice guys. We had a few Steve Weisers.
Sure. I can't imagine her hanging out with jerks.
No.
Not at all. She's too sweet of a person.
And I think the whole bar was wondering what I was doing mixing with these people. You know what I mean?
I had told you this off air, but I had a recent experience at my son's football. I ended up talking to one of the kids' dads, and it was a lot of fun. He's in a band, and we talked a lot about that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I told Nick, I'm like, I don't know how to take this, but he's like, hey, I got to be honest. I didn't think I was going to like talking to you. And that was
What does that mean?
I don't know. Cool. I have no idea what that meant.
Judging by your appearance, this guy, he didn't think you'd be fun to talk.
No.
What kind of band is he in?
He's in like a rock band. It's like kind of like lighter rock, it sounds like. But yeah, I didn't fully know what that meant or what kind of vibe I give off. Or why you would say that to another person.
I thought you were going to be a complete dork.
Yeah, maybe that was it. I mean, I probably didn't change that opinion, but yeah, that's exactly what he said. I didn't think I was going to like talking to
Maybe
you.
He doesn't like men who wear basketball shorts.
Oh, it could be. Yeah,
maybe. I kind of like his honesty.
Oh yeah, well, I started laughing.
Yeah. Maybe he's anti-hoodie.
Oh, if that's the case, right, I'm not your guy.
Yeah, get out of here with that.
This was like 2 days after I was telling you, I met a guy that I don't think he meant to be offensive at all. It was a fun conversation. I liked talking to him, but, and he's like, hey, dude, so you're not going to be on the fall cruise? I'm like, no, I got a wedding to go to. And he's like, hey, I don't need the full backstory.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he also said, hey, your picture on the website, was that taken like 20 years ago? You look nothing like the picture on the website.
People are rude.
Wow.
And I don't think he meant to be rude at all.
Well, he was.
It was like a failed attempt to bust balls and try to bond or something?
I'm not even sure really why that happened, but I was cracking up. I got to be honest, I kind of thought you guys were going to suck this morning.
Well, I don't like the way people are talking to you lately, Josh. I don't.
Beef Cannon Jesus said, maybe this dude knows you're in radio and thought you're going to be another radio D-bag. Maybe. I guess I don't know if he knows
that. I could totally understand.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. We didn't talk about anything like that, but maybe he somehow knew. I don't know.
That's like when my old beer league softball and hockey buddy met my brother, my twin brother, and was surprised that it was my twin brother because, quote, he's good looking.
Now,
blow me, Calvin.
Was he busting your balls? Or?
No. I remember I overheard the conversation. He didn't know I was there.
Oh, yeah. So it's a little different.
I'll be seeing Calvin on Sunday, and maybe it's time for me to get him back for that. He's just a.
What's the occasion? If you
he's a terrible person. It's his wife's birthday party.
Oh, nice. Are you having a theme? I know you love themed parties.
You love theme parties.
Are we having a theme? No, I'm going.
That's about it. Nobody's going to dress as Deadpool or Wolverine or anything like that.
God help us, I hope not. I mean, I'm not hosting the party, so I don't control the theme. If I walk up on the scene and there is a theme, I won't be sticking around. Calvin, it's his wife's birthday this weekend, by God. Everyone is invited. I'll see you there. Josh mentioned our boat party. What do we got now? Just a couple weeks away.
Yeah. Coming up fast.
Yeah.
September 20th. Tickets on sale, 93x.com. Yeah. Head on over there if you want to join us for the Rock the River. All right, we better get moving along here. It's Wednesday morning. Janelle Klein's going to be here a little bit later. We'll take a little break, collect ourselves, and be back in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930, now ran by his granddaughter, Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
We're all juggling life, a career, and trying to build a little bit of wealth. The Brown Ambition podcast with host Mandy and Tiffany, the budgetnista, can help.
Let's talk about the financials behind locks. It can be quite pricey, but as your hair locks, it needs way less product. When I had my fro, it was way more costly as it relates to products because my fro was thirsty.
No, it's very expensive. Yeah.
Yes, I need the whole bottle. So
what, a dime-sized portion of what?
Girl, the laughter.
Brown Ambition.
Wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Text messages, Josh. You know I don't like to get going for realsies until we cover a couple of those text messages. This year first listeners, Jesus' name, I'm not exactly sure how to say it. Cerberus?
Cerberus? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Never heard of the...
Is that like a Harry Potter reference or something?
I'm not the guy to ask. Not the guy to ask on that. Cerberus. Jesus. You know, we were having a conversation of when once in a while we dudes get in a real pinch and we got to hang it in our motor vehicle. Into a bottle, into a cup. Josh had an experience yesterday where he had to fill a cup with his own pee-pee. Because he couldn't find a bathroom. Whatever this individual's name is, Cerberus Jesus. One time, Josh, he accidentally cut his little pecker on the rim of a plastic jug.
Oh no. Oh, boy.
Just kind of a zip, you know what I mean? Just a quick little whoop, and it cut. He ended up getting pee everywhere, as he said, and he bled all over his boxers.
Oh, no. Jeez. I'm lucky. The worst manscaping event I've ever had, it was never even Band-Aid worthy. I can't imagine seeing blood on my boxers.
Well, but manscaping's come a long way. When you and I first started manscaping, we were using a cigarette lighter.
Yeah. That's true. It just cauterized it right away.
It's come a long way. And finally, as far as the text messages go, number one white boy Jesus has checked in. He says, my wife told me to give myself a birthday shout-out today because she doesn't want to text the station. So as douchey as this is, happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday, bud.
It's not a big deal, number one white boy. You're not the first douchebag to wish himself a happy birthday on this here radio program. All right, we'd like to keep you updated on which doctors and surgeons you should try and avoid. We try to keep you updated here in our daily Stupid News Report. Remember this guy and do your best to stay clear of him. An Australian, an Austrian surgeon allegedly let his teenage daughter, 13-year-old kid, he allegedly let his teenage daughter drill a hole in a patient's skull.
Oh, boy.
You know, I think it's great when somebody can bring their kid to work and show them the value of, earning a living and making a difference in the community. But This guy may have gone too far. Can you even imagine? I'm trying to.
No.
I mean, would you? Okay, Wapple, you run the board over there. If you had a kid. Sorry about that. Would you let them push buttons and stuff like that? And that's not even that important. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You probably wouldn't, would you?
No, definitely not.
Outside of just press this button and this button only at this time.
Yeah, get your sticky fingers out of here.
Much less drilling holes in heads.
It's terrible. Here's the gory details. A 33-year-old dude out there in silly Austria. He had what they call here a, quote, forestry accident. Back in January, he was hauled over to a joint called Graz University Hospital because of serious head injuries. It sounds like the dude took a full-on tree to the dome or something like that. And he had to get to the hospital for emergency surgery to his noggin. And unfortunately, the poor bastard was put under the care of this whack-bag surgeon. And somewheres during the process of the surgery, Dr. Whackbag allowed his stupid 13-year-old daughter to take part in operating on the man. Word is, like I said,
hit to the head. I mean, how do you do something like that?
I can't begin to explain it. I can't. That's not accurate because that makes it sound like I have an explanation and I can't get it out. I can't begin to understand it, Josh. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And again, the word is she even drilled a hole in this guy's skuldini. Now,
I mean, have you ever drilled like too far into something? Can you imagine that?
Well, just a couple of days ago. A couple of days ago, I was
stirs up his brain.
Dr. Whackbag now, he came out of the surgery telling everybody that the operation went well. Now, and it was a secret then that his 13-year-old daughter was back there punching holes in the guy's skull. He just came out of the surgery and said, everything's going to be fine. Well, the guy who had the holes popped into his skull isn't doing so good. So someone cut loose with an investigation, and somehow they found out that a damn 13-year-old was involved in a life-saving emergency surgery. I have a rule, Josh. You should not be involved in emergency surgery if you're still wearing a training bra. That's one rule that I have.
It's a good rule to live by.
The surgeon and one other employee, some kind of specialist who was present during the operation, they have been let go by the hospital. And as you were saying earlier, can you even imagine how the patient reacted when he found out a friggin' privileged junior high age kid, the daughter of a surgeon, was handed a drill so she could play effing operation with his skull?
Oh, I wouldn't believe it. I'm imagining what he's doing right now, and he's paging through yacht catalogs, trying to decide which super yacht he's going to park his new Lamborghini on after the lawsuit's settled.
Oh, man, right. That's one thing that might ease the pain is this guy, he knows there's no guarantees in life, but he pretty much knows he is on easy street.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I would come undone if I found out that someone was letting a kid. But great point, Josh.
Yeah, anytime any little thing happens, right? Let's say, I mean, we've talked about this before. We've had a situation where, like, you're on the phone going, hey, hang on a second, I'm trying to find my phone, right? And you realize I'm an idiot. It's in my hand. You'd think, well, that's because some kid put a drill bit in my cerebral cortex.
In your cortex, yeah.
Right in the cortex.
A trauma surgery specialist contributed a comment to the story here. He said, an operating theater. All right, so these people are a little full of themselves. An operating theater belongs to people who have a job to do and no one else. Yeah, absolutely. There shouldn't be family and friends hanging around during a major surgery like that. Oh, you should also know that the trauma surgery specialist that I just quoted goes by the name of Manfred Boner.
No, it's not.
Manfred, first name. You want to know the last name, Walter?
Yeah, give it to me.
Boner. Dr. Boner.
Paging Dr. Boner.
All of this reminds me of one of the most terrifying yet fascinating stories I've ever watched on one of my favorite all-time television shows, Air Disasters. Oh, I like to watch air disasters. Doesn't make any sense because I hate flying so much, but yet I can't turn off the show Air Disasters, where a couple of pilots are just laid back, Well, we got a couple hours left in this routine. Bang! Flight. Oh, God, no! Ah! I can't get enough.
Air disasters, are they fatal? Or are they,
oh, yeah.
So it's not like, hey, it's not as dark as it's just
it's
near
dark.
disasters.
It's dark.
Oh, no. and there's that much where they can have a whole series, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my damn. You really haven't watched this show?
No, I don't think I'd want to watch it.
How many seasons do they have?
Oh, I have no idea. I just keep hitting play when I have some downtime. It'll scare the balls off of you. You'll never want to get on an airplane again. Stories about some mechanic. He kind of left a rag sitting somewhere, and then later he didn't know that it got clogged in the thing that moves the thing that keeps the airplane up in the. Oh God, no! Ah!
All right, so if I'm looking at the right air disasters, it's not like it's a ton of them. It's only on its 24th season.
Jesus!
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I'm good on that. I don't need to watch that.
A screw didn't get turned enough. A light got left on too long. Little things that'll... Oh, God, no.
The show has only been running since 2003.
But one of my... some really simple, stupid things can and possibly will kill us all someday on an airplane. But there's also some just ridiculous, unimaginable, stupid human errors that can happen, like this surgeon letting his kid perform a brain surgery. My favorite episode is some arrogant ass clown pilot has his two little kids on the plane ride. They're going 2 million miles, like a 10-hour friggin' flight somewhere. And, of course, he lets his little kids into the cockpit. Then the pilot puts the sumbitch on autopilot. And he's going to go get a cup of coffee or take a dump or something. And he leaves his kids in the cockpit, which he had done before. And his little son says, do you mind if I sit in your chair, Daddy? Well, yeah, you've been here before. You know what's going on. And the little kids sit up in the pilot's seat. Well, the little boy just slightly nudged the steering wheel, which disengages the autopilot. They're flying at night, which, of course, you're basing all of your moves on radar and this and that. Dad's off taking a deuce, hitting on a stewardess, whatever, having a cup of coffee, comes back, 20 minutes later, and he kind of, he's jaw-jacking for a while. Then he looks around and says, hey, how come that meter says that? And, hey, how come that radar thing? Oh, God! Ah! And they all die.
Thanks, kids.
Social Anxiety Jesus wants to know if you saw the one where the windshield in the cockpit blew out and a pilot got half sucked out.
Yes!
Oh, my gosh, no.
Yes!
Duck Butter Jesus says, any snakes on them planes? That was a movie.
Lets his kids sit up, and everybody has to die because this friggin' guy thought it was cute to let his little son sit up in the front seat.
Blind as a bitch, Jesus said, on my way to the airport. I'm not worried at all.
It's a different way of ruining somebody's breakfast.
Man.
Air traffic control Jesus has just texted in. So we always have air disasters. We always have it on in the break room. Fasten those seatbelts, folks. That's hilarious if they're watching that.
Always on in the break room. Hey, I remember that crash. I worked on that airplane for a few years.
Wait a minute. Who's directing the planes? The show is so compelling.
Yes.
We want to find a way to get on this show one day.
That is absolutely outstanding. They're all so busy watching the show, they forget to What's the term again? What do they call it? Air traffic control? They forgot
Controlling the air traffic.
All right,
the all-knowing brotherhood and sisterhood is checked in. Cerebus, if that's how you pronounce it. We were wondering, what is that? What does that mean? It's the three-headed dog guarding the gates of the underworld, according to mythology and the brother and sister.
Oh, yeah.
They know everything.
Then we've got aircraft engineer Jesus texting in. And he says he texted in to say Nick is talking about the little things that triggers the disaster. Any disaster is a series of causes. And yes, the show makes that very clear. I didn't mean to speak out of line. Did I make it sound like it was one way and it was another way? Oh, yeah, if you watch the program, they talk about it's a series of things, usually.
Oh, no, airplane fixer Jesus, there's a lot of X's, said, just remember, aircraft mechanics make less than teachers. Enjoy your flight.
That's not right.
Come on, really?
I feel like those people should be making quite a bit of money.
I would think so.
I thought they were making a...
Yeah, you want to keep people happy in that profession, I feel like.
There's nothing but bad news here. No one really is texting in to make us feel any better. Those in the industry. Here's a bad timing Jesus who says, I make airplane parts. I will never fly. There's no one here in the industry that's making us feel any better about this. What does this one say? People are texting in about other episodes of air disasters that they've watched. I've watched as many as I can handle, and it's always so interesting and terrifying, but I can't stop. Can't stop.
Anesthesia Jesus is checked in on the drilling into somebody's head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just walking into work, so I can't follow up. He said, I had to comment on your last story. The drill bit they use to bore into people's skulls is spring-loaded, so as soon as it loses resistance, it doesn't turn anymore. He said it's actually pretty cool and kind of foolproof. Not that I'd recommend letting your 13-year-old do it.
Yeah, right. I guess that's good to know that you can only drill so far into a human skull.
Yeah, can you imagine if you sneeze in the middle of that?
No.
Go right out the other side.
All right, I'll stop shouting at you now and screaming and yelling, but I do love that program, and every time I watch it, I say to myself, why are you watching this? Because you'll probably end up on an airplane someday, and all you're going to do is grip the chair thinking about all of these past episodes. But I don't know. I'm a morbid guy. I do love watching stories of great misery. Now, here's one way to know that you have a terrible child. Terrible, terrible child. And it's okay to admit it. A lot of folks can't admit that. A teenage kid from India went on a hunger strike until his mother bought him an iPhone. Good luck with life there, kid. You're going to suck at it.
I used to go on like miniature hunger strikes when I would be upset. When I was a kid, I would go into my room and be like, I'm not going to eat dinner, and would refuse to eat dinner. And that would last for about 2 hours, 3 hours.
Your parents never caved?
No, I was always the one that caved because I was like, dang, that smells good, actually.
I'm a fool.
All right, so says here, there's a video going around of this kid confessing this nonsense where he didn't eat for 3 days. Spoiled little bastard. His mother is in the video. She looks embarrassed. She's obviously lost all control of her child. The kid confesses that he didn't eat for 3 days to force his mother to buy him a friggin' iPhone. And the video upped and started a debate online about gadgets as a status symbol, okay? And a debate on the entitlement of younger generations. Oh, God, where do we even begin with that?
I guess I've never thought about a gadget. That makes sense, I suppose, but a gadget as a status symbol. I mean, it seemed like people wanted to wear Beats headphones, right? Was that a status thing?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And when the iPhones first came out, too, it was a big deal to show you had an iPhone.
Yep.
Beats, huh?
Yeah.
I like my Beats funky, Josh.
Me too.
And I like my oatmeal lumpy. I'm sick with this. Straight gangster lean. What song? Humpty Dance. Word is this little kid's mother doesn't make much money. She's not rich, but the kid doesn't care. He better get that friggin' phone, and he's not taking no for an answer. And he went the extra mile, of course, making his mother worry for his well-being by not eating for 3 days, playing off his mother's natural need to care for him. What a little puke bag.
Yeah, that's super messed up.
8th graders and social media dorks went after this kid when the story broke. People have been accusing him of financial and emotional torture and insensibility toward his parents. He knows she ain't got much for money, but he insisted that she buy him a smartphone that he knew she couldn't really afford. Now, dig this. It says here, iPhone mania. A couple of you have that problem. iPhone mania has caused people to do some crazy things over the years, with some people going as far as selling their kidneys.
Jeez, dude.
I can't imagine.
So they could make the money for an iPhone. And then the plane goes down over the littlest thing. And it takes forever for the plane to get to the ground, and everyone's screaming.
Knock it
off.
off.
Praying, hugging each other. Please tell me this isn't, and it happens, and then they all die.
Yeah, it's bigger.
Are my stories bothering you, Ashley?
A little bit.
It's bigger when it's warm out, Jesus said. It kind of sounds like Eric Cartman wanting an iPad. Yeah, when he wanted an iPad or a Nintendo, he was a jerk about it.
He was.
Was it the Nintendo he went into a self-induced coma for, so he didn't want to wait?
Yeah, the Nintendo...
the Wii?
Nintendo Wii, yeah. He froze himself.
Of course, you don't have to be a selfish, little, ungrateful, stupid kid to be a complete ass. Fully grown adults aren't what they used to be either. A 75-year-old man, for Christ's sake. Right here in the States, he's gone ahead and gotten himself charged with aggravated assault for what he pulled off at a restaurant. What he pulled off and pulled out at a restaurant. And it's not what you think. Grandpa yanked a knife out of his pants and knocked a few employees around the restaurant. Police say that this old dumbass busted a spring because during dinner, wine was accidentally spilled on his wife.
He's trying to get some action, right? Look, honey, what a hero, a misguided hero I am. I will not accept this affront.
Punched a few people upside the head, and then, like I said, out comes a knife. The story doesn't indicate who spilled the wine on his wife or what exactly happened, but because so many of us now are violent, delusional maniacs, what used to be a common, understandable, and forgivable accident now turns into a game of dagger tag.
I was out to eat not too long ago, and a fellow customer accidentally bumped my table and knocked over my drink, and it spilled on me and my phone. I didn't know that.
Did you cut him up?
Yeah.
I didn't know that my boyfriend didn't love me because he didn't start stabbing her.
What the hell?
Darn.
You got to make with the stabbing.
I've mentioned this before, but at House of Comedy, Mall of America, when my older kids were young, we went to the restaurant out there. It was like, is it still like a burger place?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. And it was great, right? So we went, but I tripped and fell onto this family's table.
Oh, no.
And it was like out of a comedy. Well, I thought the whole time, I'm going to be fine. As I'm stumbling, there's no way I'm going to land on this family's table, but I did. And things went everywhere. I mean, I definitely had daggers stared at me, but no one stabbed me.
Oh.
And that's so much more dramatic that what happened in this situation. But that was, pre-2024 when we're all stabby and stuff like that.
Yeah, you get stabbed over that today, Josh.
Yeah, that family, that was so nice of them to not kill me over that. That was one of the most embarrassing moments of my entire life.
Although they could be sitting around the breakfast table and thinking, hey, remember that guy that fell on her table?
Oh, I'm sure that.
We should stab him.
Would you? Oh, maybe that.
Yeah.
That's a story you'd tell, right?
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Some nerd fell
that
on
story
your
gets
table.
told every family get together.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
I love that story very much.
Not me.
They have an inside joke about it and everything.
Yeah. They got like a goofy name for you.
A few people have been texting in back to the spoiled little kid who went on a hunger strike until his mother would buy him an iPhone. A couple listeners have checked in on that topic. Wisconsin sports fan Jesus, great idea. He said, I'd buy him the phone, but I wouldn't buy the service. Here's your phone. You asked for it. Costs extra money to get it up and running, right? And then what is this? Better than Dana at Mario Kart, Jesus says, sounds like that little bitch needs an RKO. Oh, yeah, RKO a kid. I'm not afraid to RKO a kid.
Jacob said, whatever happened to challenging someone to a duel, like a gentleman? Yes, that was the gentleman way to solve disputes back in the day. 12 paces and murder.
Yep. All right. Oh, Christ. We got some time yet. Oh, a television news station is being criticized up and down for a sexy little show that was turned loose at one of their company meetings. We could use a sexy show to add a little something to our company meetings because they are boring.
They used to be wild. Well, not the meetings, but kind of the get-togethers, the official company-sanctioned get-togethers. They're a lot more wild.
Oh, you mean when we'd meet for a drink or something?
Yeah, well, like the Christmas party and stuff like that.
Oh, we had some wild times, but meetings, the ones hosted here in the building, they've always been boring. We could use a sexy show to pick up everyone's spirits a little bit.
I would say, though, that the times where we had meetings where to teach you to be appropriate at work were the least appropriate days, certainly leading up to it, the day of, and afterwards. You would say despicable things that you were just told not to say.
People couldn't help themselves with the easy jokes, right?
Oh,
we're going to a, how did you call it?
A sexual, some sort of training.
Sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Anti-sexual harassment meeting. And then everybody had to have the obvious jokes in the hallway. Nice ass. Hey, cupcake, whatever. It got tired fast.
What's up, beautiful penis? How are you doing today?
Right. All right, so we're talking old Channel 7 over there in Australia. Remember, this is a television station. Channel 7. Here's what happened at the meeting. They had a company meeting last Friday for this reason and that reason. Whatever, businessy stuff. One of the corporate stiffs was up on the stage hyping some new shows that they're going to start pumping out come Christmas time. And suddenly, All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey kicked in, and 4 foxy ladies wearing Santa hats and short red dresses jumped up on the stage and started up with a choreographed dance doing Vegas-style kicks and that whole scene. Not everybody at Channel 7, not everyone on the staff was interested in seeing that kind of thing.
I don't know, it didn't seem to be overtly sexual or anything. Nothing that you couldn't watch on just regular TV.
It's nothing that would bother most of us. And then, of course, once the video hit godless social media, it only got worse.
It reminds me of the dance from Mean Girls that they do in their little Christmas outfits.
Here's the good news, Ashley. It reminds everybody of that scene from Mean Girls, including me.
It's hard to forget something
Have
like
you
that.
even seen Mean Girls?
Yes, I have, and it is absolutely outstanding.
It really
I love
is.
that movie.
Me
It's a
too.
good movie, yeah.
It is absolutely outstanding. I have no idea the plot.
Just watch it on mute.
But the scenery is terrific. Mean Girls. I never really watched it with the sound on, so I don't know what it was they were being mean about. I just like watching that Lohan and the rest of the gang do their thing. So when these ladies got up on the stage and did their little sexy Christmas act, there were some staff members who were shocked. Some of them walked smooth out the meeting. Now, maybe 7 times out of 10, this isn't a big damn deal, but according to the story, Channel 7 over there in Australia doesn't have the greatest reputation. There are a lot of stories of inappropriate behavior coming out of that building.
That's how it used to be. It was wild around. And I don't miss a lot of it, but I do miss a little bit of it.
I hear you. All right. I guess I got time for one more. How about some good old-fashioned exhibitionists, by God? Or some might just straight up call them perverts. People who want you to see their genitals and they want to see yours. But in my opinion, it's much more about you seeing their gear. They want you to see it so badly that they'll even sign up for stupid events like this. Says here, next month is your last chance to go naked in a cave in upstate New York. It's the 6th annual Naked in a Cave at Howe's Cavern. It's scheduled for September 28th. It'll be the final Naked in a Cave event. Oh, no, that's heartbreaking.
That doesn't seem like
a month from today.
A month from today.
That doesn't seem like a place I'd want to be naked.
A cave?
Yeah, bugs.
Chili?
Spiders.
I wouldn't want to be a cave in general.
Why not? Are you
wouldn't want to-
claustrophobic?
Caves are cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love caves.
Bad things happen in there, I bet.
That was a weird thing to say on my part.
Yeah, it kind of was.
What did you say?
The times I've been in one, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, same here, Josh. I get it.
I'm going to get you I Love Caves shirt.
What's with your guy, Josh? Is he cool? Yeah, loves caves. Good guy.
What's he like? Loves caves.
Cave enthusiast.
Naked in a Cave, September 28th. Now, the organizers of this stupid event, what did they say? They said this will be your final opportunity to attend this amazing event. Come see some old friends, make some new friends this year, because next year you'll have to get naked somewheres else. And again, they always try to sell these types of things like some kind of bonding thing or whatever. They call it a, quote, body positive experience. Please stop doing that. This is about exposing yourself to strangers without being arrested. I'm so tired of being...
Probably for 99% of them.
Yes!
Dana, weren't you kicked out of a naked cave event for sitting on a stalagmite?
I told you not to bring that up.
I just picture everyone
didn't he? He brought it up.
I forgot. I'm forgetful.
I picture everyone just naked, and then they have one of those miner hats with the light on it.
Yeah, sure. That might be how they set it up. Oh, wait a minute. Look out, fellas. If you're planning on being naked in a cave at this ridiculous... it says here the caves are 52 degrees year-round, so that means that little acorn is going to go straight up into your abdomen. They want $85 in trade to sit there naked in a cave with local perverts for the weekend.
You've seen these, like the Philadelphia Naked Ride and stuff like that. It's not like what you're going to see at Rick's Cabaret on a Friday or Saturday night.
Typically people you don't want to see naked.
Why am I paying you to sit in a cave with local perverts so they can look at my balls? And I can look at the... Oh, there's going to be a stand-up comedy show. Oh, I'm sure there's a big headliner planned, huh? Big headliner.
Famous nude comics out there.
I'll be dipped. We got to take a break. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Text PARK, P-A-R-K, PARK to 651-989-9393 for a chance to win tickets to the Gaslight Anthem. The Gaslight Anthem is coming to the Fillmore Friday, August 30th. Prize provided by Live Nation. This keyword is good today, August 28th until midnight. Good luck.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I'm being honest, bro. I don't think anybody in this generation could have played like 20 years ago. And this is to Ant, this is to everybody in our league, Tatum, all y'all. Let me tell y'all something, bro. 20 years ago, bro, you couldn't get to a triple step.
Nah.
You hear what I'm saying to you? You couldn't get to a triple step back. And then if you shot that it had to go in. You know why? We had efficiency lap back in the day, my dude, and it was so hard. It was too physical.
Well, this one's cute, too. This little music bed, Josh?
Yeah.
Kind of led me to believe for a second there that it was Hangar 18, but it's not Hangar 18.
No, we can rip songs off.
I love this gimmick. I do. I'm enjoying this. Kevin Garnett there. He and Paul Pierce are chiming in on the latest basketball argument that Anthony Edwards got started, comparing today's players to players from 20, 30 years ago. So KG there saying that he doesn't think a lot of guys in today's game could have played when he was playing.
I will say this.
What
skill
happened?
level has gotten better with this generation, but I don't think overall it makes you a better player.
Paul Pierce's thoughts on that, too. Man, he really started something A1 from day one.
And I apologize. I at first I thought that was one of you people talking, and instead it was Paul Pierce. What about Paul Pierce, Josh? I'm sorry, one more time.
No, A1 from day one. Anthony Edwards really started something.
Yes, he did.
Everybody, these huge names are chiming in, and People are pissed off.
Yeah. And I haven't heard anything else from Anthony Edwards after that either. He's kind of like went in the hole.
No, I don't know if he's commented or not, but you guys would know better than me. You're on the godless social media. Have you seen anything?
No,
I haven't seen a damn thing.
Tony Kornheiser, he went off on him.
Tony Kornheiser.
He does. Nobody had skill but Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, Pete Maravich, Isaiah Thomas. You're right. Please. He's got to look at these people because he is destroying NBA legends. All right, this is a guy, he's a talented player. He was on the Olympic team, though he didn't play as many minutes as 7 or 8 other people during the Olympics, but he is a talented player. He should have stopped, Mike, with this quote. I didn't watch it. I can't speak on it. That's where he should have stopped.
Wow. Those guys still do a show together? Tony Kornheiser and Buster...
Michael Wilbon?
Buster McGee?
They sure do.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it
called him a fool.
He did.
Yeah.
And Anthony Edwards did come off like a fool with that comment. But it's fun to talk about. And we'll get into it with Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver. Real quick, I'll just tell you that the Twins, they didn't do dick for most of last night's ball game. And then in the 7th, they came back. Oh, they did, Cuppy. And then in the 8th, they tied it. And then in the 10th inning, it was a total disaster. We'll tell you more about that. Again, with Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder coming up in a half hour. Stick around. Josh's News is coming up next.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930, now ran by his granddaughter Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
Former Navy SEAL Sean Ryan shares real stories from real people from all walks of life on The Sean Ryan Show.
Tucker Carlson, what is it that you think that people gravitate
I'm not
towards?
self-aware. I refuse to be self-aware. I don't even look in mirrors at all, which you can probably tell from my appearance. I don't have a crazy high IQ, or I really don't have that many skills. I would say my main skill is I believe my instincts. I don't hesitate to follow my instincts, ever. To the extent that I have, I've gotten in trouble.
The Sean Ryan Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Half-assed Morning Show. 93X.
It's been happening a lot now recently, so we just have to spend extra money on securing the area, securing the property, just to avoid these kind of problems.
A story in Van Nuys, California, about a shop that specializes in self-defense weapons is making news for a major case of irony. The self-defense store, which sells all the tools you'd need to protect yourself from crime, just got burglarized. And it was for the 2nd time in a week and the 3rd time in a year. Overnight Monday, a masked suspect threw a rock through the glass door to steal merchandise. And last week, 5 suspects did much the same.
They start grabbing products from here too, from the shooting range. All the drawers were open, emptied with the pistols. They took 22 minutes. That's a long time. And law enforcement was here. They didn't even run.
The store sells items such as pepper spray and non-lethal guns, which shoot carbon dioxide cartridges and specialize in weaponry used by law enforcement as well as citizens looking to protect themselves from crimes like being robbed in the middle of the night. No arrests have been made.
Kind of sounds like a just smash and grab job, not exactly Danny Ocean with their planning there. They just kind of broke in and went for it.
Yeah, and they got a bunch of stuff. All 3 times, it sounds like.
What would be your preferred, Josh, your preferred self-defense weapon if you could only have one?
Okay.
We're not just limiting it to what might be in this shop that got broken into. You said things like pepper spray. You include all the tools of the ninja trade, whatever. Your preferred...
So you're saying after crying doesn't work.
Right.
After curling up on the ground like a dead armadillo does not function in the way I hope.
Yep, you have to stand and fight. What is your preferred how did I say that? Your preferred self-defense weapon.
Can I have like a 50 cal on me?
I suppose.
Or is it something more reasonable?
I suppose.
Flamethrower.
Ooh.
That's a good choice.
That's where I thought you were going to go with it right from the get-go.
Crossbow, flamethrower, something like that.
A gun, certainly. You can go ahead with that answer if you want to settle on it, but the way you get the shakes when you're scared, I imagine you wouldn't be the greatest shot.
Yeah, probably not. And I'm covered in urine.
That's why I thought you would go flamethrower, because even somebody with bad aim can mangle someone with a flamethrower.
What about I call in a drone strike? Can I do that?
My damn.
I mean, are all the options open?
Pretty much.
Just an AC-130. Goo-goosh.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, me neither.
It's a giant gunship.
It was a cool sound you made, though.
A gun chip?
Gunship.
A gunship.
Yeah.
There's probably a couple of topics I'm interested in that I could bring up, and then they just leave.
Oh, you begin a boring subject.
Yeah,
you begin a boring conversation.
Yeah.
Property taxes.
You know how to do that.
Sure, yeah, that's for sure. Are you guys familiar with how to EQ a voice? Let me take you through it.
What was the subject matter? And this isn't something that ever happens on air. On air, you're the most intriguing guy in town. Off air, you have some interests that will put most folks to sleep. What was the subject on one of our boat parties a few years ago that you bored a couple with?
Oh, that was taxes.
Taxes,
yeah,
property taxes.
Tax. They brought up something about taxes, and I had just read an article on it, so it was perfect timing. And you know what? That's more anxiety than Herr Jesus and his beautiful fiancée. Far too hot for him. I think he realizes it. And they were very cool about it.
During that conversation.
I immediately thought afterwards, I ruined that opportunity to meet these people.
But did you think during the conversation, oh my God, I am killing these people with a boring conversation about
yeah.
You did?
Oh,
okay.
yeah, absolutely.
You were self-aware.
And I didn't know how to get out of it. I think I might even mentioned, I'm sorry this happened. And I was reaching for my flamethrower. I thought I have to kill them. That's the only way to solve this, but I didn't have it.
You did apologize during the conversation. I'm sorry that this happened.
Yeah, it was all me. It was my fault.
You get nervous.
I do, and there were something that they said, I said, and I thought, okay, we'll go with this, and realized, oh, that's stupid.
F me running, here I am talking property taxes at a beer party.
Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be a beer party. You know what? I got to start drinking.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the problem. Mm-hmm. I should have had a couple of bumps. In the middle of a rescue last week, Oakland firefighters brought out the jaws of life. Then when they set the jaws of life down, somebody stole them. The firefighters brought out the tool during the call, but after using it, they discovered they disappeared. The jaws of life, if you're not familiar, they are a hydraulic tool used to rescue people trapped in vehicles after serious accidents. It can cut through wreckage and weighs about 50 pounds, so one person can use it.
Do we have one of those in the building?
I don't think so.
The jaws of life? Because Janelle Klein's going to need it here in about a half hour to pry Wapple off of her leg.
The incident happened about 7:15 p.m. Friday, and so far, police haven't released any details about potential suspects.
Pry Wapple off of her thigh.
But the Oakland Fire Department's working closely with police to recover the stolen equipment.
Oh, somebody's got a cool gadget to show off at beer league softball, huh?
Yeah. Hey, let me open that beer can for you.
Yeah.
I'd imagine those things are probably not cheap.
The jaws of life, you say?
Yeah. Didn't we have a coworker here that had the nickname Jaws for a derogatory reason?
God help us.
I thought in the late
90s. God dang it, who was Jaws?
It was like a salesperson.
Someone that wouldn't shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we called him Jaws. God dang, I can't think of who it was, but we were really, really on the spot with nicknames back in the day. We really were.
I told a new coworker a nickname we had for a former coworker about what this person was willing to do for a sale.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Can we say that one? I don't know if we can say it, but that one was so perfect.
I don't think we can say
Probably
it.
not. And I'm sorry to do that to you. I know that's lame to bring that up.
But it was a great, great nickname. It's killing me, though, who Jaws was. I have to come up with that.
And you remember Empty Suit?
Empty Suit.
Yeah, our buddy
Absolutely.
Doug Nelson gave a salesperson the name Empty Suit because he wore a suit, but outside of that, we don't really know what he did around here.
Right. God dang it, it's killing me. I'm going to come up with it. Before the end of this news report, I'll be able to tell you who Jaws was.
A California man's been charged with breaking into an FBI truck and stealing thousands of dollars worth of equipment, including flashbang grenades, a gas launcher, surveillance gear, and a ballistics vest, which he reportedly traded for drugs. Sounds like he didn't know the value of what he had.
Is this guy tight with the dude who stole the Jaws of life? Should we be preparing for something?
Yeah, I wonder if they somehow know each other. According to the criminal complaint, security cameras caught Gregory Acosta Alvarez breaking into the FBI truck about 6:45 a.m. August 7th. It wasn't exactly a stealthy operation. Cameras captured him riding away on a bicycle to a nearby hotel. By 3 p.m. that same day, FBI agents were knocking on his door. Unfortunately, by then, though, the ballistics vest and the guns were gone. Acosta Alvarez allegedly told them he traded them for $20 worth of meth. If that's true, he definitely undersold because the vest alone, they said, is worth about $1,500.
San Francisco man was arrested recently after he allegedly broke into an FBI truck and stole a gun, flashbang grenades, and a camouflage ballistic vest and traded them all for $20 worth of crystal meth. In case you were wondering how awesome meth is.
During a search of the hotel room, authorities were able to recover the flashbang grenades and some other gear, but they lost a couple $1,000 worth of gear.
That's all he wanted was $20 worth of meth rocks?
Yeah, must be some good stuff.
Dude, get a BJ while you're at it or something.
A New Mexico woman is now facing charges after police say she played a real-life game of bumper cars, injuring a detective by ramming into multiple police vehicles. The chaotic scene unfolded Friday night at a Hilton Hotel in downtown Albuquerque. Officers approached the vehicle, and the driver, identified as Leanne Aragon, apparently thought that her electric ride could outmaneuver the cops. Instead, she managed to turn the parking lot into a demolition derby. In her attempt to dodge one police car, she went full throttle into a second, which then slammed into a third police car like a set of dominoes. Unfortunately for one detective, he got caught in the middle of the action.
Oh, no.
Ending up with head and neck injuries.
Head and neck, you say?
Yeah.
That sucks.
A 23-year-old Texas man faces federal charges after kidnapping a rideshare driver at gunpoint and forcing them to drive over 1,000 miles to South Florida.
Hey, dude, I would like a really dangerous long-distance trip. You know what I'm talking about? Some of those guys and gals, they're not the best behind the wheel. Have you noticed that, anybody?
I have.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, my God, help us.
Yeah. If I see a sticker on there, that's why they're weaving. They're not drunk. The criminal complaint states a rideshare driver was working in Arlington, Texas, around 10:30 p.m. August 16th when Miguel Pestron Hernandez ordered a ride. The suspect reportedly asked to go to a closed gas station. And when they arrived, he pulled a gun and loaded a round into the chamber. He then threatened to tie up and place the driver in the back of the vehicle, but instead demanded the driver take him to southern Florida, over 1,000 miles away.
That's a poke.
The attorney's office said once they arrived in Florida, he discussed plans to kidnap another victim for ransom. On August 19th, the suspect made the driver go to a store to buy supplies for the second kidnapping, but instead of complying, the driver fled, and the suspect was arrested.
If I'm holding up an Uber driver and forcing him or her to drive me 1,000 miles, do you think I'd still feel obligated to have a conversation with them along the way? Because that's a hell of a long ride.
Yeah, that's a long chat.
You're pointing out billboards and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd hate to ruin a kidnapping with some awkward silence. Yeah.
Right.
Playing the slug bug game.
Or else the alphabet game.
Yeah.
I see an A on that billboard right there. A 71-year-old Indiana man admitted he tried to kill his wife by poisoning her Coca-Cola with codeine, MDMA, and benzodiazepines so he could marry his stepdaughter.
Ooh-wee.
Yuck. Wow. Alfred Ruff confessed to lacing his wife's drink about a dozen times as part of his twisted plan to run off with her daughter, his stepdaughter.
Was the stepdaughter interested in hooking up?
Well, it sounds like maybe.
Nice.
According to him. But it's a little tough to know for sure.
Oh.
He told police his stepdaughter and one of her friends convinced him to go ahead with the plot and gave him the drugs to sprinkle in his wife's drinks. He claimed his wife's daughter wanted to get mom out of the picture, quote unquote, so they could cash in on her life insurance. Then she promised to marry him once they took care of the wife. He was caught after his wife contacted police saying she'd been hospitalized 6 times in just a few weeks, and then she tested positive for drugs that she hadn't taken. When police arrested him, they said they were investigating the stepdaughter and her friend, but no arrests have been made. So it sounds like cops aren't convinced yet either. But maybe the stepdaughter just wanted the money and she was lying to him. But according to him, like, the wife would pass out, right, from the laced cola, and they'd put on shows for him, is kind of what he claimed. Like,
what do you mean, put on sex shows?
Yeah, sexy shows, it sounded like.
Stepdaughter would put on a sexy show for dude.
According to him, yeah. The wife would pass out, and then that's when she and the friend would put on a show.
Well, I mean, don't some folks say the heart wants what the heart wants?
Yeah, sometimes you got to ignore the heart. you know? I don't know. In that case, your heart is twisted, if that's the case.
I don't know.
In a small New Mexico, really?
I don't know.
Nick loves love.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of guy that just...
I don't care how I'm related to this person. Yeah. It's not blood, he's thinking.
No.
In a small New Mexico town, a Starbucks construction site has earned itself an unfortunate nickname after being the target of not one, but 2 arson attacks. But like a determined barista completing a complicated coffee order, developers are forging ahead with plans to open the town's first drive-through Starbucks by spring, despite someone setting fire to it twice. The site was torched first in August of 2023 and again 2 months later. So locals have given the future site of America's most popular coffee chain the nickname Charbucks. Local businesses there have got in on the fun, displaying a Starbucks logo with a mermaid which has flames shooting out of the top of it. That's cool.
That's sweet.
After the second blaze, some other chains actually decided they weren't interested in the town, and they noped right out of there. They said, we're not opening stores here. The town council is pleased they're sticking with the plan, though, hoping the coffee giant will perk up the economy with jobs and tax revenue.
Jobs and tax revenue.
Yeah, they're still going through with it 2 times. Somebody doesn't want that Starbucks.
No. What do you suppose the problem is there?
Maybe they like caribou more.
Could be.
Maybe they want a bar.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. Last year, officials from Woodbury, the South Washington Watershed District, and Ramsey, Washington Metro Watershed District had a contest to name a street sweeper. Obi-Wan Cleanobi now helps clean their streets. This fall, there's a new street sweeper joining the city's Public Works Department, and the naming contest is back. As of Friday, several entries had been submitted, including Taylor Swiffer, Sweep Caroline, Sweep Dog, Luke Stormwater, and Darth Sweeper. City staff will review all submissions, select the best ideas, and invite residents to vote on their favorites. They have until Labor Day to submit a name for the new sweeper.
Bastards.
That's cute.
Today is all about kids at the Minnesota State Fair.
Oh, well, every day is, isn't it, Josh?
Well, it should be. Day 7 means Kids Day with special deals on select merchandise, food, and discounts all day at the Mighty Midway and Kidway. And get ready for some country jams tonight.
What?
John Party is headlining the grandstand with special guest Dylan Carmichael.
Dude's last name is Party?
P-A-R-D-I. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it.
Oh.
The fair released Monday's attendance numbers yesterday, and since Mother Nature wasn't exactly in the party mood Monday, attendance dropped to 80,546, way down from last year's 134,000.
What a dream to go there. Wouldn't have been, I mean, if the weather just wouldn't have been so miserable, wouldn't it be just wonderful to go to the fair with only 80,000 people walking around?
One of the lowest attended Mondays in over 40 years.
Oh, I wish I would have been there.
Yeah, beautiful.
Pretty far off, obviously, from the all-time Monday record set 7 years ago when 144,000 fair-going guys and gals glided through the gates of the 2017 Minnesota State Fair.
Tell me more about this John Party character. With a name like that, I got to know more about this guy.
Well, his wife is pretty.
Oh, really?
Oh, Summer Party is her name.
You're kidding me.
No,
you a summer party?
Summer, that's adorable.
These friggin' people, they're making me nuts. Summer Party?
Summer Party.
I'm not. Yeah, this grandstand lineup is the first time I'd heard of this person. He obviously must be a big name.
Yeah, he's a pretty big deal in the country
I like
world.
him quite a bit.
Yeah. Where would I hear something like that? On the radio?
Yeah, maybe.
Someplace like that?
Pull up your Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify.
Former Wild player and Richfield native Darby Hendrickson turns 52 on Saturday. Or wait, no, today. I don't know why I would have said Saturday. Today. Jack Black is 55. Stifler's mom, Jennifer Coolidge, 63. We wanted to send our love to Zelda Master Jesus and his family. Their dog passed away suddenly last night. I was really sorry to hear that.
That's too bad.
Tough night, obviously, and a tough day today they're expecting. So I hope you guys are doing as best as possible.
Sorry about your bubby.
Yeah. Moose the Moltec Jesus texted a happy 29th anniversary to his wife, Brett Fan for Life Jesus, and said on his 29th anniversary today he wants to thank her for 28 great years. And he said, yes, that's the way I mean it. And wouldn't you know it, Brett Fan for Life Jesus texted in a happy 29th anniversary to Moose the Moltec Jesus. Isn't that sweet?
These two are friggin' adorable.
They both text in. She had nothing snarky to say, though. Happy birthday to Harambe. Never forget Jesus from Hootie and the Blowfish Slingin' Jesus. Happy 40th to podcaster No Jesus Named Jesus. Happy birthday to Miley, turning the big 1-0 today from Dad CF Feed Hauling Jesus. And happy birthday to Rylan, also turning the big 1-0 today. And good luck at tryouts. 2 AAA hockey teams trying out for today.
What?
That's from Dad Bank Examining Jesus.
There's a listener in our audience who is going to try out for 2 AAA hockey teams in one day.
That's what it says right here. It sounds exhausting.
Wait, what the hell is AAA hockey?
I don't know.
No clue.
No idea.
I got lost there for a second.
Yeah, it was
AAA
like A,
baseball.
B, and C. We
Okay,
played.
well,
Should
Everyone's
we continue,
an A.
or do we?
I'm just trying to figure it out. Good luck, I guess.
Happy birthday to Jacob from Montgomery, and that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
You can see he had his nice big tentacles that are sticking out, and he's got a rigorous training program, and he loves his green leaves, so we feed him plenty of nice green leaves.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
He sounds like a fool. He does. Nobody had skill but Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, Pete Maravich, Isaiah Thomas. You're right. Please. He's got to look at these people because he is destroying NBA legends. All right, this is a guy, he's a talented player. He was on the Olympic team, though he didn't play as many minutes as 7 or 8 other people during the Olympics, but he is a talented player. He should have stopped, Mike, with this quote. I didn't watch it. I can't speak on it. That's where he should have stopped.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get to that. The Anthony Edwards comment about players from 25 years ago having no skill other than Michael Jordan. That comment is still pissing people off, and we're going to jump in on it again a little bit later on this morning. For now, let's welcome to the show Randy Shaver.
Good morning.
The Ass Man is here. Brad Ryder, by God, the Lonely Boy.
Good morning.
And Jungle Jane, Janelle Klein.
Good morning.
What's going on, Janelle?
You know, I was just telling you guys, Randy, I roll into 93X this morning and I see a nice little clip about your new podcast.
Oh, Here we go again.
The papers have been writing about it. Pioneer Press had one yesterday.
Jesus.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I guess I haven't seen it. That sounds fun.
The picture they have, it's really not that much fun. But I will say the picture, where is the sports page? They have you on the cover of the St. Paul.
They have me on the cover?
They have you on the front page of the St. Paul Pioneer Press sports section, okay? And Josh, have you seen this picture yet?
Yeah, it's the same one they had online. I didn't see the paper version, but I read the online one.
And what it looks like is, and I've made this mistake a few times, when an older person is looking at their phone and they accidentally take a picture of their own face. You have to see this picture, Randy Shaver. It looks like you're playing with your phone and the camera went off and you didn't know it. It's just a little too close to your face. It kind of makes you look like...
Okay, I guess I don't know what picture that is.
Yeah, look, go to the Pioneer Press. You know what I'm talking about, Brad Ryder?
Well,
I'm going to look right now, but
so
I don't have a subscription either, but I'm going to try to find it.
So, Janelle, Randy's got his podcast cooking now. None of us from this program, including yourself, as far as I know, you haven't been invited to be on it yet.
No. Nope.
I feel like it's going to stay that way, too.
If Randy's so bored and needs stuff to do, he can come teach my classes for me today. That's fine.
You already trying to get out of it?
This is the second week in a row where you...
No, today's the first day.
No. But this is the second...
One.
Yeah.
This is your second appearance in a row, Brad Ryder, where you've started off belly aching about work.
Well, yeah. I have to go back to it.
Dana last night, he tells me, he's like, hey, dude, or yesterday, I'm going to be on a sports podcast. I'm like, oh, sweet, Shaver asked you to be on his podcast, and it was not Randy Shaver that asked him to be on the podcast. It's a completely different podcast.
He actually has in his contract that I'm not allowed to even listen to his podcast.
They can tell if you're downloading?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, Brad Ryder, you say today is your first day of actual work?
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, today's the first day of class.
What are you going to cover?
Oh, we're going to go over the syllabus, and I'm going to crack the whip, and everybody's going to leave afraid.
God, syllabus day is the worst.
Are you one of those teachers? Because sometimes you get that, right, where on day one they're going to lay down the law.
Do you have any icebreakers planned for the kids?
Got any jokes?
Sure. Yeah, well, two of my 3 classes are really like freshman level entry classes, so it'll be a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds who have not been in a college class before. So we'll do some lighthearted stuff in those classes.
Well, yeah, take it easy on the young people, Brad Ryder.
I hated those icebreakers when I was in college. Can we go around the room and talk about, like, what's your favorite thing to do?
I need to know names. I need to learn names. That's one way to do that.
Yeah, you got to kick somebody's ass the first day to set the tone.
I should.
The teacher has to do that?
Yeah.
The teacher, just like prison?
Yes, exactly. Prison rules at Brad's college.
That'd be awesome.
Have you tried using or learning some of what the young people say nowadays? Some of their vernacular? Like, hey, what the skibbity?
What do you think of my drip?
Something like that. Hey, look, I'm the cool teacher, guys. I speak just like you.
My name's Brad, and I'm here to say, having Riz is the only way.
Do you swear in class, Brad?
What was that?
Do you swear in class?
No, this is like a Catholic school or something, isn't it?
No, I don't swear in class. No.
No, hell no. This is a.
He probably wouldn't say on the radio even if he did.
This is a straight-laced setup. This isn't Mankato State or something.
Right.
Yeah, really.
When the kids walk in, do they all have to dump their cell phones into a bucket and they don't get them? No?
Nope. I treat them like adults. You can have your cell phone. I just ask that you try to stay off of it. But no, you don't have to dump your cell phones. This isn't middle school.
Do you have a disgusting bathroom pass that you have to grab if you leave the classroom?
Again, Wapple, this is like a high-dollar setup. Do you know where he's at?
I just want to see a kid in that school walking around the halls with a bathroom pass.
This is not Forest Lake High School.
Yeah, no.
This is not Faribault.
People actually pay good money for me, which is scary.
Yeah. This is fancy schmancy. Everything's clean as a whistle. Now, what do you think of this idea, Josh? Now that Brad's back at work at that fancy schmancy college, we should put together some kind of a pool. And don't stack the deck, Brad Ryder. Don't cheat this, because this could be real fun. Don't do anything crooked. Some kind of a pool, some kind of a gambling pool as to when we hear the first appearance for the fall of 2024 by our beloved leaf blower guy.
You know what? People are already texting in saying, does this mean leaf blower guy's coming back?
There's no reason to believe that he wouldn't be back, but we should all collectively on the program here, we should place a bet on a specific date and put some money in there, some real money, or a real prize, a real
I will
prize.
say the last couple days I've been in here till about 1:32 in the afternoon, just getting some stuff done, and he's been out there early in the afternoon the last 2 days.
Oh, he's out there now?
No, not right now. I'm saying he's been Monday and Tuesday this week. He was outside early in the afternoon.
Well, that's what I mean. Like this time of year.
Yeah.
I was thinking that like Janelle would say October 5th and Randy
that's
would
what I was thinking too.
But you're saying over the air, like when you hear him during the show.
On this show.
No, I understand that, but it's just it kind of takes the
Nick was thinking a date.
Yes, a date.
Like
it takes the excitement away to know that the sumbitch is already there.
Yeah, shoot.
Okay, he's here, but he hasn't made an appearance on the show yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll work on it. I guess the fact that he's already already stopping by kind of takes a little bit of the punch.
Tells me our budgetary concerns aren't real great at this school if they're sending out him, in August right now. So
that's where the extra money
or December.
goes to.
Well, is he assigned just to leaves or to other yard waste?
Well, that's a really good question.
Great journalistic question there.
That's why you're in journalism.
Yeah, hard-hitting question.
You're not the weed guy. We got another guy.
He goes down the street and does 5 other neighborhoods after us.
That is the cutest question that's ever been asked on this program. Is he just doing leaves?
Hey, get your hands off the crabgrass. That's not your side.
I should call a presser for him and let you guys all come and do a scrum.
Yes.
Well, we mentioned before, we've tried to get him on the air, and unfortunately, we haven't been able to make it work. Mm-hmm. But we have a few times to get the leaf blower guy out.
Yeah, we've made serious efforts.
Calls? Have you really made calls?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And it kind of seemed...
Maybe that's why they cringe when they see me coming into the security office.
Or is he in charge of other yard waste? That was incredible.
That was pretty great.
That's our promo.
All right.
Yard waste.
That's terrible nice right there.
Again, maybe we can come up with something, but the fact that he's already walking around with that friggin' leaf blower on his back as of a couple days ago, maybe we don't need to.
Well, we'll just have to do first time he's on the show, I guess. A little less exciting, but at the same time.
My sense is that he'll start coming out in the morning again pretty soon, because when classes start, I think the mentality is we want to clear all the leaves off the sidewalk so the kids don't drag them into the building. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
So, yeah.
All right, Brad Ryder, good luck with day one.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit of this and that before we get out of here. I can guarantee you that. Twins looked pretty lifeless last night at home against Atlanta. They found themselves down 4-0 until the 7th inning, and the boys came roaring back. By God, they scored 3 in the 7th. They scored 1 in the 8th, and they tied the pig up. She went extras, but the 10th inning was a total disaster. The Braves scored 4 times in the 10th to win the ball game 8-6. Now, the Twins did plate a couple runs in their turn in the 10th inning. Had their chance for a walk-off, but our local guy, Matty Wallner, he struck out with the tying run at first. Things have not been easy for the fellas over the last couple of weeks.
No.
Atlanta's been very good, and watch out, as Dick Bramer said yesterday, we've been talking about it too, watch out for Kansas City.
Yep.
They won again. They've won 3 straight against Cleveland. They're now tied for first in the division, and they play again today. So it's a 4-game series between those two teams. I'm telling you, their pitching has just been lights out. They've been great.
Yeah,
on the verge of sweeping that series.
I talked about them a couple weeks ago. I said, watch out for them. They were 3 or 4 back then, but you could kind of see, like Randy said, their starting pitching is solid. Their run differential, I think, right now is only behind the Yankees, and they've kind of done it a little quietly because they've been sitting back there in 3rd place most of the season, but they've hung in there. And, you know, who else is not out of it either is Detroit. Detroit's only 5 back of the Twins in the wild card. So,
yeah,
they're
Ron Gardenhire's got that team cooking now. Jerron Duran took a beating in that 10th inning. He allowed 4 runs, 3 of them earned. There was a gong show play. Infield grounder to Julian. He throws high to home plate. Sloppy play. Jerron Duran getting... It seems like the big leaguers have figured him out. It's kind of got me...
Yep.
Did you notice
I was just going to say that, Nick. I think the league has caught up to him. They have figured out how to attack him on the mound, and he has not been as dominant as he was a year ago.
No, it happens.
It does happen. It's unfortunate, though, for the Twins because it's almost September, and they can't afford any more of these kind of games. They're still in a pretty good position right now. I mean, for that final wild card spot, but anything can happen in the last 25 games here.
Yeah, things can turn around, but
they need this pitching staff to get itself together.
Boston is 4 back of them, and they got to go to Fenway and play 3 games in September yet. So it's going to get a little hairy if they don't get things turned around pretty quick.
Yeah, I hear you, Brad Ryder. I like when people describe things as hairy in that context. I do. It's an old-timers type of a thing. We're getting pretty hairy around here. Man, it's really a shame that it's too late to create any new State Fair T-shirts, because a few people have texted in saying, if you sold a shirt at the fair when I go there on Friday that simply said other yard waste on it, I would buy it. 93X Half-Ass Morning Show on the front, on the back, other yard waste with a question mark. It was just a lights-out moment.
With a picture of a leaf blower.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And Janelle with a acquisitive look on the back.
Holding a notepad, jotting down the response.
Is there just one guy who does the leaves? But there are other people who handle
Damn,
other...
I would buy that T-shirt. That's hilarious.
Here's Sprinkler Fitter Jesus texting in saying, I just wanted to say I love Janelle Klein. I would do unspeakable things for her.
4, right?
Yeah, that makes it different.
For her.
Right.
Yes, that's one we can read.
There are women that I've made it known on this program before, Josh. There are women that I would kill for.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They would just have to say.
You've had a few over the years.
They would say, all I have to do is look in my eyes and say kill and point, and I would do it.
Like
and
Tara Reid or who?
Oh,
Tara,
that's one.
She's one of them.
Yeah.
Tara Reid, Sprinkler Fitter Jesus, would do unspeakable things for you. You need something done, he would do it. Here's a cute little note. Okay, so the Twins have one more with the Braves tonight. that friggin' jag-off Chris Sale is pitching for the Braves.
Ooh, he's been good.
He is just he's a disgusting person. And the Twins are going to...
How is he a disgusting person?
You don't remember the Chris Sale stories?
I remember one where he wouldn't wear a jersey or a shirt for some reason, right?
Cut it
the
up.
White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the White Sox.
Now, people can change, okay? Maybe he's changed. But yes, he destroys the White Sox jerseys. They're cute Sunday jerseys, the old school red, white, and blue, because he was so mad that they didn't fit him. So he cut a bunch of them up with a scissors like a 9-year-old would do if you left him alone with a 6-pack of beer. The reason I go in that direction is, don't you remember a few years ago, he got in trouble for something. And he made a direct comment, if I remember this correctly, he made some kind of comment to the media about, regular people wouldn't understand what we pro athletes deal with. So don't even question me, because until you're at my level, you wouldn't understand what I go through. Somebody looked that up. It was just repulsive what the guy said. So I'm going with it. I'm going with it. The Twins are going with it.
Regardless of all that, he's been super good on the mound. He's 14-3 on the season. He's having a Cy Young type season. So he'll be a tough ask for the Twins tonight. And David Festa's going for the Twins tonight. This is the kind of issues right now that the Twins are looking at. Their bullpen has not been very good lately.
No.
Their pitching is young and inexperienced, and they're in the heat of a wild card chase.
They're right in the heat of it, Randy Shaver. Okay, you mentioned the Twins bullpen. They did claim a reliever yesterday, and a former Twin, Michael Tonkin. They claimed him off waivers.
He's bounced around this season.
Randy Shaver, let me tell you, he has switched ball clubs 5 times in the last 9 months.
Yes.
What an adventure.
And then, of course, they made the one trade at the trade deadline, and then they dumped the guy yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, who was that now?
It was the pitcher that they, and I can't think of his name now.
Oh, it was Stewart?
No, not Brock Stewart.
No, not Brock Stewart. The guy they got from Toronto.
Yes.
Okay, they dumped him?
Yep.
Yeah, David is Roberts, right?
Roberts.
Yeah.
Something like that. I know the guy, I just can't think of his name.
Yeah.
I think I have the Chris Sale quote.
What was it?
If you want me to act like a normal person, you have to treat me like a normal person. This isn't like a normal atmosphere, If I was at Bank of America, this wouldn't fly, right? This is sports. This is leverage. This is pressure. I take a lot of pride in what I do.
I don't think that's a terrible quote.
Maybe I was drunk or something.
Doesn't sound right.
Not you.
Michael Tonkin, big skinny kid, moved around 5 times in the last 9 months. Now, we'll see what he's got. I remember he had a pretty decent fastball, but he got teed off on pretty easy most nights that I watched Michael Tonkin operate. Dick Mountain has returned to the show.
Yeah, he's 44.
He's a 44-year-old man now. The Boston Red Sox called up 19-year big league veteran Rich Hill, otherwise known as Janelle, gave him the nickname Dick Mountain.
Yes.
You should see the look on her face right.
You know Rich Hill. You know old Dick Mountain. If he appears in a big league game this season for the Red Sox, he would become the only active player to have played a full 2 decades in the majors.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. This is now his 4th stint with the Red Sox in his career. Dick has also pitched for the Twins, the Cubs, the Orioles, the Indians, the Angels, the Yankees, the Athletics, the Dodgers, the Rays, the Mets, the Pirates, the Padres, as well as a brief run as Tommy Dreamer's tag team partner back in the old ECW days. He played 1 season in the NHL on a line with Mario Tremblay and Jacques Lemaire in Montreal in the late 70s. He scored a goal and had 9 assists in 23 games with the 78-79 Montreal Canadiens before he was traded to the now-defunct Atlanta Flames in exchange for goaltender Reggie Lemelin and forward Butch Deadmarsh. A lot of folks don't know that about Rich Hill.
No.
I think with these last these last two stories prove is that teams are a little starved for pitching.
Yeah, no kidding.
Could you imagine just having one room with his jerseys?
Yeah.
I don't know if you could fit that in one room.
Yeah, I don't think you could.
And all the title belts he won of the Dreamer back in the day.
I was wondering what else he did. Like, was he ever a guitar tech for the Eagles? Or, I mean, it seems like a Renaissance man.
It was all sports-related stuff.
He wasn't a leaf blower anywhere?
No, he did other yard duties.
Yeah, he was the yard waste.
Handled. You say it, Janelle. It's your line.
I don't even know what I said.
He handled what?
Yard waste.
Other waste?
Other yard waste.
That would be great if the leaf blowing is his only gig. They hand him a mower, and he's like, "Hey, not my job."
No,
he does grass clippings, but he draws the line at shrubbery.
Yeah, he's a specialist, okay?
Excellent.
He went to school for this. He learned from the best, his mentor. He has a Mr. Miyagi leaf blower mentor.
I mean, is there any way we can make up T-shirts before Friday?
I don't know. It seems like it's a process. Although I wonder, we've got to replace quite a few. It sounds like after the storms, maybe
there was the storm yesterday sucked up our T-shirt.
Oh, did it really? Do you mean the
inventory
limited edition Wapple T-shirt?
Sucked them up into the sky. They found the storm sucked them up and spit them out in Cottage Grove or something.
Yeah, that's how the State Fair cleaned up all the water. They just logged my shirts.
If we got
a sign from God, Wapple. Those shirts shouldn't exist.
Yeah, it is.
If we could make up a leaf blower ... and other yard waste Janelle Klein half-ass morning show T-shirt by Friday and have you come out and join us when we make our appearance, I bet we'd sell a pile of them. You're going to become a hero to landscaping crews all over the metro.
Yeah, I hope that today they're using that phrase and other yard waste. Our guys say, go move that rock and other yard waste.
Hey.
It's too bad Randy's still not on the air on TV, or he could end a story like that.
Now, we got some Viking stuff here, some football stuff for you, because we're getting closer to that friggin' nightmare. You probably already knew this, right? Vikings tight end T.J. Hawkinson will miss the first month of the season. Did you already know that?
Kind of figured.
Yes.
You knew that.
Yeah.
You did. By God, you did.
He may miss a little bit more than that, too, depending on how he is when he gets back, when he's eligible to play.
The Vikings officially cut a safety by the name of Lewis Sine. You know, they had to cut her down.
Sine. That's the kid that they drafted. That was the very first pick by Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah.
Okay. Sine is how you say the name?
Yep, Lewis Sine. And the kid never played.
All right. I'm glad.
First-round pick.
That's where I was going with that. So they had to cut her down to a 53-man roster. They get rid of this Lewis Sine character. Okay, you're right. First round, 20 plus 22 NFL draft. And the article that I read.
Draft. Yep.
What's his name? First draft, Adolfo.
He was the new general manager's first pick ever.
All right. So this article calls Lewis Sine the biggest bust in draft bust in recent memory for the Vikings.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Well, if you're drafting a guy in the first round and you're cutting him 2 years later, and he was a first-round draft pick.
Well, yeah, the Vikings cut Demetrius Underwood like weeks after maybe 2 weeks after training camp started. So, I mean, that one still has to be number one.
What about Williamson? Trevor, Trayvon?
No, but he played.
Monty, Melvin, Martin.
Demetrius Underwood never even saw the light of day. So.
Swami.
We were at that
Troy Williamson. Huh?
We were at that training camp with Demetrius. Remember? And all the trouble that around that?
Oh, God.
That was in Mankato.
Hope he got the help he needs.
Okay.
The Vikings had 2 first-round picks that year, and that was a late first-round pick. And, the kid, I think he showed up for one day at training camp, and he disappeared, remember?
Yes. Mm-hmm. You're talking about Demetrius Underwood, and then the next pick they had, they took Johnny Flynn. It was a total disaster.
Steph Curry was on the board.
They didn't need a point guard at the time, but they took one anyway. Hell.
Okay. This Louis Sine had a terrible leg injury as a rookie. Worked his way back up to full strength, but he just couldn't cut it. So they're calling him one of the biggest busts in recent memory. So Randy mentioned Demetrius Underwood. The guy just went off the deep end. Troy Williamson.
Yep.
Do any other names come to mind for Vikings draft busts? I can't think of any.
I suppose there's probably some. I think in the past, like a guy like Jarvis Redwine used to come up in conversation. He was I don't remember if he was a first-round pick by the Vikings, but he never really materialized. But
Jarvis Redwine.
Underwood is easily the biggest bust just because he never played for the Vikings.
Okay.
It's easy to look at quarterbacks, too, but you got to look at where they were drafted.
Yeah, but
you got guys like Gino Toretta. Who said something over there?
Christian Ponder.
Chris Ponder. That was a nightmare.
Either, though, was he?
What's that?
Oh, yeah, he was a first-round pick.
Was he a first-round pick?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
he was
number 12.
You got to throw Ponder in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you do, but the only thing I'll say about Ponder is they gave him 2 years to develop, 3 years, and he played. I mean, it wasn't like Louis Cine, who was drafted and really never played.
Well, because his
really
leg fell off the first year. He was a rookie. His leg came off.
Yeah, but he, here we are 2 years later. He's had plenty of time to get on the field. He just never made the team.
Oh, here's some other. I hear you. Here's some other suggestions from our listening audience. Irv Smith, the tight end.
Yeah, but Irv Smith. Again, he played. I mean, he was out there.
All right.
I've got one.
If they put you on the field. Erasmus James
out of Wisconsin.
I don't remember him at all. If
defensive lineman, right?
Yep. Defensive end.
So by Randy's standards, if they put you on the field once or twice, okay, then.
Well, I mean, Christian Ponder actually won a few games for the Vikings and was the starting quarterback. I mean,
yeah. Well,
big difference between that and what Louis Cine has done.
Fair enough.
Or didn't do.
I found out at the Wayzata American Legion one night that Christian Ponder had bigger plans anyway, so he was going after ISIS. One of my favorite moments ever watching a ball game at a bar. If you don't know the story, I'll tell it again. So this was a Packers-Vikings game, a primetime game, Monday or Thursday night, it must have been. Big crowd at the Legion, and Ponder's quarterbacking for the Vikings. I think this may have been his last start for the team, and he was just brutal, and the Packers just steamrolled the Vikings. Ponder was brutal, and the writing had already kind of been on the wall, so the crowd was already pretty edgy at the sight of Christian Ponder under center at this point in his career. They were done with the guy, and Ponder throws like his third interception, and now the bar is just beyond repair, cursing and swearing and throwing their beers and whatnot. And this younger fella that I've known my whole life, he was sitting a few stools down from me. And what was so great about the bit is a mass majority of the people at the bar didn't understand the humor behind what he was saying. They were completely thrown because the sarcasm was so thick. Dude starts saying, you know what your problem is, to the entire bar? You people, you know what your friggin' problem is? Your brains aren't big enough to understand Christian Ponder. You're not smart enough to relate to Christian Ponder. Pause, and then he says, he'll figure out that ISIS. I'm roaring with laughter, and a mass majority of the people did not get the joke. And it was a real shame that they did not, because that was friggin' brilliant. Who would have thought, watching Thursday Night Football between the Vikings and the Packers, that ISIS was going to come into the conversation? Olympic wrestler, all-time Golden Gopher great Gable Steveson was cut by the Buffalo Bills. Sure, he might end up on their practice squad or someone else's practice squad. He did see, as the article says, significant action during the preseason, but they weren't thrilled with it. Signed with the WWE in 20+21, but he never quite found his footing, and now he tried football, so what's next? Can he sing? What do you suppose he'll try next?
I don't know.
MMA?
That's a decent guess.
Yeah.
Decent guess that he might try. Whatever. Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Woolham received the most votes. Tell me if you agree, gentlemen and ladies. Caleb Woolham received the most votes from a poll of current NFL players when they were asked the question, which rookie quarterback will have the most successful career? They polled 100
rookies this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
They polled 103 NFL players from 25 different teams. This is something ESPN puts together every year. The players were asked what rookie quarterback will have the most successful career. The majority of them said Caleb Woolham. Coming in second place was Washington Commodores quarterback Jaden Daniels, and then our own kid here, J.J. McCarthy. What do you think? Will Caleb Williams?
I think Caleb Williams is the real deal. I've watched some of that preseason, a couple of snippets of his preseason. I've watched the show on HBO, just kind of watched how he handles things and whatever. He seems like he has embraced the leadership role in Chicago, and, the Bears have been so bad at quarterback in the last, 15 years? I maybe that's too far. They just have been bad. And if he can sustain a career where he's, average to good over the next 5 years, they may have a chance to be pretty decent because they've got some other really nice pieces on that team. So
you heard it here first. I said it a couple days ago. The Bears are going to the Super Bowl this year. Janelle Klein. Janelle Klein. Name a band or a singer or an actor or someone that you think is overrated. Overrated. Man. I'll give you time to think about it.
Okay, please.
Give you time to think about it.
Thanks.
Because there's further information here in this NFL player poll. What did they ask? All kinds of questions. The best quarterbacks, overrated quarterbacks, underrated quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, everything. So stupid Patrick Mahomes was voted the best quarterback.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy and Matthew Stafford were voted underrated, the most underrated. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and that Tua kid from Miami were voted the NFL's most overrated quarterbacks. In that order. In that order.
Interesting.
Do I have to think
they voted Josh Allen overrated?
Most overrated.
I don't agree with that.
I'm not sure I agree with Jalen Hurts.
I was just going to say that too.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Well, Josh Allen throws too many friggin' interceptions. That's probably why they call him
Joe
overrated.
Burrow's overrated.
Did you hear that, Janelle?
Randy?
Did you hear what he said?
I heard it.
Why would he say that?
I don't know.
Him and his stupid hair now. Why would he do that?
Randy Shaver has stupid hair?
No, Joe Burrow.
Oh.
Yeah,
Randy Shaver's hair is one of his...
Eminem, you mean?
Yeah, wannabe Eminem.
What has he done now? What did I miss?
He looks like Cody Rhodes.
Oh, right, with the blonde, yeah. Did you come up with someone who's overrated?
Does it have to be an NFL player? Or
No.
Okay.
I said singer, band, actor. Again, if
what about movie? Anything.
A little more time.
A little more time she wants. Okay. I don't really care to get into this. I hate all this stuff so much. The NFL will not use automated first down technology this season. Did you know that they were working on this in the preseason?
Mm-hmm. What is it exactly?
Yeah,
where they wouldn't have to use the chains. They would just use,
get rid of the chain.
I was afraid someone was going to ask what it is. This preseason they've been doing trials with a new automated first down technology that mimics something called the Hawkeye system in tennis.
Oh.
So you don't have to use the chain gang. It would be some fancy schmancy someone in the booth with a computer mapping out exactly 10 yards right down to the friggin' fraction of a... I don't know, and I don't care. But they say they're still considering maybe using it next year at the earliest. They're going to stick right now with the chain gang, which I don't have any problem with. I'm so tired of all this technology butting into our good times.
I think
what are we going to do with all those retired guys? That's what they do.
They're specialists.
Well, I think it adds some drama to it, too. You see them run out there, you're like, are they going to get it? And then they don't make it, and then they pull it a little bit more.
That's true. There are times you're like, they got... Oh, nope.
No, that was way off.
The damn chain gang. Yeah,
That's a good point, Wapple.
What would we do with those old beer-bellied sumbitches if they were out of a job? I guess maybe they'd go... high school football. A couple wacky things have happened on the high school football field this year. Well, first off, this public announcer the PA guy at a high school football team, I guess he got caught on a hot mic calling a player a dumbass.
Yeah.
Turn around. Yeah. Pass intended for number 11, Tyler George. Incomplete. Penalty markers down. Turn around, you dumbass. Read his eyes.
I kind of love that.
It sounded like a disapproving father.
Yeah, it did. It kind of sounded like, that was his kid out there.
Uh-huh.
I agree.
I'm glad I never heard what my dad had to say on the sidelines this morning.
I'll tell you, that is fun on the sidelines, listening to other parents.
I bet.
I was telling you.
Oh, my God.
My son's
that went over the...
No. The part where he said incomplete pass intended for, that went over the PA, so all the parents and everyone at the high school football game heard that. The dumbass comment was off the PA mic, but it got caught on a live stream or some silliness like that.
I thought the comment went all over the PA.
Guys, just up there roasting these high school kids.
It's got some echo, dumbass.
What were you saying, Cubby?
I was just saying it's fun kind of being on the sidelines, listening to other people's parents, right? The kids' parents. Like there was a guy, I love this guy. He's super funny, this dude. His son was out there, and he was having what Dad thought was a bad game. And so finally he's like, he throws his arm up. He's like, well, maybe there's a chess club I could sign him up for, because obviously basketball's not his game.
That's awesome.
Oh, no.
Now, later on.
That little snippet's a great reminder for me, because I'm doing this hour pregame show tomorrow night on Game Time Media from 5:30 to 6:30. And I don't know if the mics are going to be hot or they're not hot. I'm going to have to make sure that I...
Be on your best behavior.
Yeah, be on my best behavior.
Don't be telling any filthy jokes.
Good reminder.
Yeah, if you can't control your own mic, just assume it's on.
Right.
So about 1,000 people were tuned into this high school football live stream and heard the guy make that comment about a high school kid, calling him a dumbass. And what made it even worse is, I guess later, still unaware that his mic was hot, he later reiterated that the kid isn't so much a dumbass as he is an asshat.
Oh, no.
If he's trying to do both the PA at the game and a live stream at the same time, that's pretty dangerous.
Or is he sitting next to someone who's doing the live?
I don't think he was doing both at the same time. I think he was maybe sitting... it's a lot of work if he was doing both.
Oh, man.
Is there video of this? I couldn't find video of this. A high school football referee, ref in a game in Hawaii accidentally intercepted a pass during a game, and the players didn't know how to react, so one of the kids tackled him.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. He kind of like, the kid wraps him up and then realizes, oh, what have I done? And kind of sets him down gently.
Yeah.
So he didn't necessarily get destroyed, but at first you're right. The kid was like, I don't know what to do here.
Yeah, they're smiling and laughing.
What a dream come true.
Did the referee try to get out of the way or something, try to protect himself?
I didn't see video. That's why I was asking if there was video.
It just kind of was like it just happened, and he reacted and caught the ball.
He didn't have much time.
How does that play go down in the record books, Janelle Klein?
Of the ref?
How do you score that?
How do you score that?
How do you score it? God, that's a good question. How did they score it? Do we know?
It's an incomplete pass.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, man. When I was a kid, to have the opportunity to light up a ref like that, I would have taken...
Just truck the guy.
Oh. All right. Kevin Garnett chimed in now on the Anthony Edwards thing. Everyone remembers, I'm sure, that Ant a few days ago said that players were not that skilled in the 1980s and 90s, other than Michael Jordan. He also gave some credit to Kobe Bryant. So Magic Johnson and others didn't take kindly to those comments. Kevin Garnett's in here somewhere, too. He was doing a podcast with Paul Stanley. Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce.
Podcast.
I don't think anybody in this generation could have played like 20 years ago. And this is to Ant, this is to everybody in our league, Tatum, all y'all. Let me tell y'all something, bro. 20 years ago, bro, you couldn't get to a triple step.
Nah.
You hear what I'm saying to you? You couldn't get to a triple step back. And then if you shot that it had to go in. You know why? We had efficiency back in the day, my dude, and it was so hard. It was too physical.
All right, so KG says most of the guys in today's league couldn't play 20 years ago.
I agree with that.
Well, number one, no, you couldn't do a triple step back three in KG's era because it was friggin' traveling.
Right.
And I have called that out for years, how ridiculous it is. James Harden started it. When James Harden became the latest flavor of the month star NBA player and started dumping threes from midcourt, and with his little foot shuffle that he does, that should have been traveling from the get-go. But the NBA didn't care. They just wanted more star players and more points on the board. I cannot stand that step-back three-point crap. And it's part of the reason why I'm not going to call Steph Curry the greatest shooter of all time. Because he's allowed to do something that Reggie Miller was not, that all these other great shooters were not allowed to do.
What we call a cone. You know what you do with cones? In the summertime, you got a cone. You make a move. What does the cone do?
Stay still.
Exactly. He's a cone.
And don't even get me started on Chris Paul. Me or Patrick Beverly. Don't get us started on. KG also said that today's players, I love this, who, quote, dribble the air out of the ball, wouldn't have been able to create separation from the elite defenders of the 80s and 90s, let alone blow past them.
Yeah.
Now, he doesn't want to be totally critical of Anthony Edwards because he does like Anthony, and he closed out by saying, I'm still rooting for you. I'm not going to use this platform to douse things. I'm here to elevate the game and help the young players. But every time I watch an NBA game and Harden or Curry or Paul George or who's the kid from Dallas with the chubby cheeks? Doncic. Every time they do that with their feet to separate space and shoot a three-pointer, it friggin' aggravates me. It's traveling. I don't care that they now allow 3.5, 4 steps to the basket. I got over that years ago. But the shuffling the feet at the three-point line is friggin' traveling, and they just have forgotten that rule altogether because it means more tickets sold. Pisses me off every time.
But besides all that, what Garnett said is correct, is that, there were such great players in that era. And what Anthony said is just incorrect. It's just not a true statement.
Everybody knows that. Anthony Edwards even knows that by now.
Mm-hmm. He just says stuff to say stuff.
I think he kind of starts talking and doesn't realize where he's going to go and where he's going to end up with it.
Yeah.
So, with all this talk going around about whether or not NBA players had skills back in the day, Bleacher Report cut loose with a ranking of the 10 most skilled NBA players of the 90s. Of the 90s. A lot of things sucked about the 90s, especially the music. Music from the 90s, worst decade ever. Absolutely by a landslide. It's not even close. But we're not talking about music. We're talking about NBA players. The most skilled players of the 90s. I'm sure you can guess who was at the top spot. I'll give you a hint. He's an unbelievable prick who gets a pass from most people just because he was great at basketball.
Well, Michael Jordan.
Honorable mention, Karl Malone, Scottie Pippen, Chris Mullin, Larry Bird. He still hung on there for a little while in the 90s. Tim Hardaway, Arvydas Sabonis, Clyde Drexler, Gary Payton, Tony Kukoc, and Grant Hill. That's the honorable mention list. But even those guys weren't good enough to get into the top 10. Number 10, Anthony Hardaway.
Yep.
Number 9, Kevin Johnson.
Yes.
Boy, he was
great player.
Yeah, great point guard for the Phoenix Suns for many, many years.
And a really good defender, too. Underrated defender.
Number 8, David Robinson, the Admiral.
Yeah.
Saw him play
You're not
live.
going to get the shots off against him.
No, he was. Saw him play live at Target Center a few times. His calf muscles, Josh, had extra little calf muscles that led to his ankle muscles that had extra ankle muscles. I've never seen a body more absent of fat than David Robinson in person. The man was sickening to look at. You know what I mean? Sickening in a sense that how is it that you can look like that and I look like this? And
we're both the same species.
We're from the same species. And by all accounts, about the straightest laced, nicest sumbitch ever. No offense, Cubby.
Yep. Yeah.
Number 7, Reggie Miller.
I'm surprised he isn't higher.
I still, if I ever meet Reggie Miller, I just want to say thank you for what he did to the New York Knicks back in 1994 or 5, whatever it was, when he scored 8 points in 1 second or whatever. And oh, God. Number 6, Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Going through the most skilled players of the 1990s in the National Basketball Association. Number 5 is a player that I thought was just Mark Price. I love to watch Mark Price play basketball back in the day for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Number 4, I would have put him number 1 because he's my favorite player of all time. And I have trouble talking about him because I want to cry. Hakeem Olajuwon, oh, the dream.
Yep.
He was so beautiful to watch, Hakeem Olajuwon. I always wanted to learn how to do the dream shake, but nobody would show me. Brad Ryder, do you know how to do the dream shake?
Sure, I can teach you sometime.
Number 3, John Stockton.
Yep.
Number 2, Magic Johnson. And, of course, number 1, the prick. Did I miss anybody in there?
No.
No.
Oh.
Not if you're talking top 10.
Okay, good. Well, there you go. I'm out of
I was
win.
trying to think of any Timberwolves from the 90s, but...
Well, there was.
Well, I mean, Garnett was drafted in '95, but it really
Sure.
kind of took him
into the early
5
2000s
years,
before he...
to really take off.
I
So
love
he wouldn't
this.
really qualify for the '90s.
I love it when folks pull out deep references that nobody would ever understand. Vacation Jesus wants to know why former Timberwolf Stanley Roberts didn't make the list of the...
That is a deep cut.
Big Stan. I remember Big Stan.
Oh, yeah, Big Stan.
He was built like a strip joint bouncer. But he'd go out there and get her done. All right, Janelle Klein. Overrated singer, band, actor, actress. Go.
You gave me 2 ideas, which we've talked about before. James Harden.
James Harden, wildly overrated. God bless you for saying that.
1990s music.
And
I'm going to take some heat for this, but I don't think stand-up comics are typically funny.
That's great. That's a great answer.
I wouldn't have thought of
Well,
something.
then you should have been at the State Fair on Saturday night because Nate Bargatze was tremendous.
He was good. I wanted to ask you if it was good.
That's a great
It was
comment
awesome.
because it kind of, you're not being overly specific.
I don't find
You're kind of throwing a wet blanket over an entire industry, and I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. And I'm glad you took the time because that's an interesting. Why don't you find
I don't know. Maybe I have a poor sense of humor, but I sit through, if I ever try to watch, a Netflix special, and I don't even crack a smile. And then I come in here, and I'm, rolling around on the ground. I find you guys so funny. What's wrong with me?
Well, Nick loves Jim Gaffigan. Do you?
Oh, stop it. Just don't even do that to me.
You could put me in a room with Wobble, and I would laugh way harder than, watching one of those.
Oh, that was sweet. That's an interesting
What does that
comment.
say about Wapple?
Yeah, you're laughing at him, not with him.
That's an interesting comment, and I like that you weren't afraid to make that comment.
Thank you.
I have to say, Janelle, that we have that in common.
Really?
I have a couple of favorites. Other than that, I 30 seconds and I'm bored with stand-up comedy.
But, so is this Nate character the exception, Randy?
No.
Uh-oh.
I
People
think
are
he's
reminding
great.
us of one of your better friends.
Who?
C. Willie Miles.
Oh, well.
C. Willie knows how we feel about him. He's different.
Yeah.
He is one of the best. Well, I'm not just saying that because
He'll bring that up next time he comes in, though.
He might.
And you know what? I think C. Willie has said roughly the same thing, that we'll have to check with him, but it sounds familiar in my brain that C. Willie once said that, he's not the biggest, he can't sit and watch other comics, maybe because he's too close to the flame or whatever. But anyway.
He's had some bad experiences where people he talks about the arrogance of some of the people.
Yeah, I think that was, am I right, Josh? He might have said something.
He said that before. C. Willie, though, this is true. It's not because he's on the show. I'd say this no matter what. He's on the show because of how good he was. I saw him open up for Damon Wayans, and he was incredible, and that's why we asked him to come on the show, and he's been a friend ever since.
I just like the idea that there was some young comic this morning listening to our show. He was just writing up a few dick jokes until Janelle Klein said, I just typically don't give two pumps about stand-up comedy, and the kid put his pen down, and he called his brother-in-law at the friggin' Chrysler plant to get a gig.
Said I'm coming back to work.
I love that you took a huge dump all over a massive industry. I do.
You know, because usually it's the other way around, right? Comics, they hate radio, especially morning radio.
Yes, they do.
Is that true?
Yeah, oh, man.
Well, they're a little jealous of it because
yes, they are.
If you're entertaining on the radio, they're like, hey, how come people are laughing at them and not me?
We don't spend 6 months writing our material.
Which you can tell if you listen to the show. But, yeah, they don't like it.
Janelle, starting trouble on the show. That's what she does. She's the black sheep. Comes in and starts kicking ass and doesn't care who knows about it.
All right,
gotta
come
go.
November, tell us who you're voting for.
Why don't you do it right now and stir it up now?
We're running way over time, and it's all my fault. We got to go. Thanks, Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver.
All right.
The always controversial Janelle Klein will be back for more here in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930, now ran by his granddaughter Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
Are you tired of losing your fantasy football league year after year? Lindsay Rhodes, Emmy-winning sportscaster and football analyst, is your new secret weapon on the Believe Fantasy Football Show.
Watch the quarterbacks and his ADP. I think he has massive high-end upside.
Get expert analysis on player rankings.
Wide receiver 22 in fantasy, Cecil Shorts.
That kid can run, so I'm thinking he can have a breakout season this year.
And you can too by searching the Believe Fantasy Football Show. That's BLEAV wherever you listen.
Care 11's Janelle Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah. You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, and we appreciate that. You know, if someone wants to take a shot at me, I'd prefer it if they did it to my face. That's just how I was raised. I don't appreciate cheap shots. I don't appreciate sneaky stuff. I want to make that very clear because, 10, 15 minutes ago, I said out loud that there was no music as miserable and awful as the music from the 90s, and then Wapple plays Tonic.
Yep.
If you got a problem with me, Wapple, approach me man to man and let's talk about it.
Nope. No, I don't. That's just what the boss gave me.
Oh, you're putting this off on the boss.
Yeah, he didn't even give me a music log today.
You want me to talk to him about it?
Wait a minute. How did the boss give it to you if he didn't give you a music log?
There was 2 songs in the system that I had in the commercials.
So we don't have beef?
No.
All right.
No.
If we ever do, come at me man to man. Don't start playing Tonic, and then what are you going to play next?
I was thinking Red Hot Chili Peppers, maybe some Nirvana sprinkled in there.
Maybe a little Verve pipe?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'll give you a friggin' Verve pipe, Cubby.
I got to say, though,
I'll give you a stovepipe.
Tonic,
I got a hash pipe.
For a while, Tonic was like the 93, or the Edge, and then the 93X, like house band. They played so many of our things.
Those were miserable days.
They're really cool guys.
Those were tough times, Cubby.
They're really cool dudes.
Welcome back to the program. Your girlfriend's worst nightmare, the bad girl, Janelle Klein, is in studio with us. Definitely your girlfriend or your wife's worst nightmare. Because as we found out a few minutes ago, she is not afraid to step right over your ass.
Hell no.
Not afraid to hurt people, Janelle Klein. You've kept this side of you under wraps until a few minutes ago. I like it.
It only takes about a decade to peel back some of these layers. Now that we've known you for so long, we're starting to get to know you better.
Janelle had a couple of comments during our conversation with Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder that I'll remember forever. She said something about yard waste. It was adorable.
That was awesome.
But then a few minutes ago, I asked her to think about it and come up with an answer. Name a song or a band or a famous person or whatever that she found to be overrated. And this is the direction she went. She threw a piss blanket over an entire industry. She said she just doesn't generally enjoy stand-up comedy. And I am the same way. I love that comment. I love that you weren't afraid to throw that out there, and it opens up something new that we have learned about you, Janelle. Don't be ashamed of what you said. You were just speaking your mind, giving your opinion. But I did receive a couple of text messages.
Oh, great.
Where is this one? Oh, did I lose this message? Oh, yeah, it's right here. Hang on, I crumple things up before I'm completely done with them. Listener texted in to say Janelle needs to give comedians another chance. Would you be willing to give them another chance?
Oh, yeah. Maybe I haven't watched the right ones.
For instance, this listener, Mad Funk Styles, Jesus. Give comedians another chance. He says, Vince Neil's performing tomorrow at the State Fair with his band Motley Crue. It promises to be a really funny performance by Vince Neil.
That's good.
Yeah, that show's not getting a lot of love. I can tell you that much.
Good tickets still available.
Well, yeah, I don't know about that, but I can tell you via text message, it's not getting a lot of love.
Oh, man. Frankie died just the other night. I mean, if they would just go back to that Too Fast for Love sound and crank out On With the Show for me, who am I kidding? I'm going to be there. God. Some say it was suicide, but we know. Text me if you have the Too Fast for Love record from 1981. I'm at 651-989-9393. And what do you think of my favorite Motley Crue song, On With the Show? What do you think?
I love that song.
Oh.
I had the CD. I might have given it to you, actually, when I gave you all my CDs.
He was broken down with his broken dreams. Okay, did you folks know that we've reached a point where reports are being written on when it's acceptable and when it's not acceptable to make a telephone call?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, I think about it now, whether or not this is a text or a phone call. As a matter of fact, there's times where, like I'll call you, Nick, and I'll think the first thing he's going to think is something's wrong because it wasn't a text message. So I think about...
Yeah, that has sort of been established, hasn't it?
Yeah, you start to think, like, if somebody calls, I usually assume, something's not good here.
Text messages are such a disease and so much just a common way to communicate now that a phone call rattles you out of your shoes.
Yeah.
You assumed that, oh, God, another bridge has gone down or something like that.
Totally. Because I remember, I think, both of us felt the same way. At first, I'm like, why? I don't understand the texting. Like, I didn't get it. Now I understand. But at the time, I'm like, this takes forever, this conversation. This could have been a 30-second conversation. So that's usually when I'll make a phone call is either when you want to talk to someone at length, or if I know that this will be very fast in a phone call versus back and forth with texting. But I do think about that. Like, what's more appropriate here? Because some people get pissy about it.
Are you still cool with a telephone call, Janelle Klein? Yeah, I'll tell you this much. When I do call you on the telephone, because I'm an old school person who will still make phone, you always seem, hello, hi. You don't seem to be bothered at all when you get a real telephone call.
Well, it's because it's you guys, and I adore you. I would say that my MO is typically if I need to talk to someone, if it's not urgent, I will text them and say, would you please call me when you get a minute? So that I'm
that's
not
nice of you.
interrupting whatever they're doing.
That seems to be a common approach.
Yeah, I do
That's
that too.
true. You've done that.
I do not do
I've
that
gotten
at
that
all.
text from you before.
Yeah.
But we've reached a point where articles are being written on when it's acceptable and not acceptable to make a real live phone call, where not that long ago, it wasn't anything that anyone gave a second thought to. Got to make a phone call. Call Donnie. Find out where...
I never think about it twice.
Explain yourself.
Like, and maybe it's because I still get phone calls from my mom almost daily.
Yeah, you ain't the only one.
She likes to chat. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's what you guys are doing, right?
Yeah, chatting.
I never think about it twice, I guess. If I think a conversation is worth calling over, or just, I don't know, it's like what you guys were saying, how you used to feel. This could be a 30-second phone call, or it could be like a 10-minute back and forth text. So I'm just like, I'll just call. I don't care what you're doing. I'm going to call. And if you don't answer, you're not available.
That surprises me because a lot of this phone etiquette, I think of you and what would Ashley want me to do? And I would assume that most of the time you wouldn't want me to call.
Oh, no, you can
you
call
strike
me
me as a text person.
No, you guys can call me anytime.
Anytime.
Right. Maybe I'll start doing that.
Not you, Dana.
You sound like... now you're starting to sound more like your mother. Call me anytime, she says.
And usually she accompanies that with a photo. Or
I did see a funny, on this topic though, I did see a funny post the other day that says, if you get a text message from your mom that says, hey, do you have time for a call? She either wants to tell you about something that happened on Price is Right or your entire family is dead.
Union Drywall Jesus said, remember in the 80s when someone knocked on the door and you ran to it? Now we hide or check the camera first.
Or if I get a call from an unknown number and I'm sitting in front of my laptop, I'll Google that number to see if it's somebody I need to answer.
Oh, I don't even do that. I never answer. I figure if it's important, they'll leave a message.
The young people. What's the problem with the young people, Josh? Okay, so here's where we're going with this. Young people hate phone calls. A recent poll found that 23% of people under 35, nearly a quarter of people under 35, never answer the phone, which is so hilarious to me because when I was a young person, you couldn't wait for the phone to ring.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You couldn't wait for it to friggin' ring. Like, say, in high school on a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. There's not Dick Tracy going on. Man, when that phone rang, we would race to it.
And like when your parents or, somebody you lived with was on the phone, you were miserable because you knew you might be missing a phone call at that time.
I didn't even mind if the phone call wasn't for me. I would unscrew the mouthpiece and listen in on other folks' conversations.
Dude, that would have been useful to be able to unscrew the mouthpiece when I would try to listen in on my brother's conversations.
Yeah, I would do a little bit of that now and again because it just killed the boredom. We needed something to kill the boredom of a weeknight, like I was explaining. We didn't have the internet, video, and something to add a little excitement to the evening. You know what I found out while listening in on other people's phone conversations in my home when I was a kid? You know what I found out? My brother has no game.
None.
No game when he's talking to the ladies on the phone. He was terrible at it. He was such a kiss ass. So here we go. 2,000 people were asked, again, this is so silly to me, to name the most acceptable reasons for calling someone instead of texting. Like it's some great offense that the phone has actually ringed. Rang? Rung.
Well, I'll tell you, there are times, especially Ashley and Wapple, you'll be texting something and then you call them and they don't answer but text you back.
Oh, because you're too busy to take a phone call, like in a setting where it's inappropriate to take a phone call, but you could do a quick text back.
Yep. Even if it's all the time that happens? Like constantly? Are you guys that busy, be honest?
Maybe I'm just not seeing any of your phone calls. I don't remember the last time you called me.
I'm calling you right now.
Care 11's Janelle Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Miss Nasty is what she wants to go by from now on. Janelle Klein, yes, in studio at the Half-Assed Morning Show. Geez, we got to get out of here. My damn.
Oh, yeah. Look at the time. Look at it.
I'm looking.
Oh, are you? Oh,
look. You now you look.
Oh, my God. Look at the time.
It's even later than when you were asking me to look.
Dana, look at it.
When I was a kid, we were talking about the telephone, We were talking about the telephone. When I was a kid, and when Josh was a kid, just hearing the telephone ring was exciting as all hell. These days, people avoid a ringing telephone like it's a deadly plague. So there are even reports being written up.
Wapple threw his like a grenade when it started ringing. Just got rid of it.
Yeah.
Scared me.
Things have changed so much that there are reports being written up on when it's acceptable and when it's not acceptable to make a telephone call. It's just crazy to me. By the way, Speed Bump Jesus texted in to say, and this is reinforcing what I was just saying about how important a telephone call was back 35, 40 years ago. Even if it wasn't for you, my God, a change in the overall vibe. That's what it was. You're sitting at home, you got the the television's on, no one's talking to anybody, you're bored to death. Just the ring of the phone was something exciting. Speed Bump Jesus. When I was 13, he says, I killed my cat running to get the telephone.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh.
No.
He had not taken out the garbage. I jumped over a big bag of garbage to get to the telephone. The cat cut right in front of me, and I squished him.
Oh, no.
That's awful.
So here we go. The 10 most, in the year 20 plus 24, the 10 most acceptable reasons for a phone call. Number 1, for a general chat. So I guess it's still somewhat acceptable. Somewhat. Just for a general, how you doing kind of a thing, okay? It's not completely out of the question, but it's damn near out of the question. To inform someone of a death. To show support when someone's going through a tough time. Oh, to wish them a happy birthday. When you're running late, it's still acceptable to let someone know with an old school telephone call. To book a hotel or a restaurant reservation. To announce positive news, Josh, and boy, we'd love to say this someday, we're pregnant.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We'd make a beautiful baby.
Calling in sick to work. I don't feel very... I'm having problems with my elbow. You got to call in sick. Can't text in sick. That's the ultimate sign of someone who's SAWFT soft, if you ask me. When you're lost or trying to find someone. I'm trying to get to Rick's Cabaret. Where is it? So this poll found the average adult in 20 plus 24 only spends, I'm surprised it's even this much, only spends 5.5 minutes a day on the telephone. But if you're young, it's more like 0. Josh, when we were kids, we could get through 5.5 minutes on a telephone and not even said anything yet.
Yeah, I bet I'm at least half hour a day.
Yeah, you still talk on the telephone,
yeah,
do you?
I've got a couple buddies, or certainly my wife. Maybe it's mostly texting, but at least half hour, sometimes more.
Yeah, I'm probably the same.
I agree with this text. This person says, what's irritating now is we're all so connected and impatient. If someone texts you and you don't respond in 30 seconds, they act like you ghosted them. That's true.
It is true.
I mean, sometimes I had a buddy give me crap the other day, and I know it's hard to believe, but I was in the shower. And I'm like, dude, I was just in the shower. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, he's giving me crap about it.
Things are so backwards, Ash, now. Janelle Klein, how do we straighten this out?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. But I don't really love being on the phone either, so I get it.
2 pumps and a squeeze, Jesus said, we'll get a message, or I'll get a message from the boss that says, hey, do you have time to talk this afternoon? And my first thought is, immediately, I'm fired.
Right.
I feel that way. Like when the boss texts, like, hey, do you got a couple minutes for the phone?
Yeah.
I think, because maybe this is a little different. No, I probably would no matter what, think this. But he does not like to be on the phone at all. And he makes that clear. He's don't leave him a message.
Yeah. He's not comfortable with that.
He doesn't like it. So you text him or email him. That's how he likes to communicate. So yeah, if he says, can you get on the phone later? You assume like, geez.
My first question back to that when he sends those messages is, am I in trouble?
Oh, you do ask him that?
Yeah.
That's my thought. I don't really text it.
The boss's voicemail at the end of it, his recorded message says, wow, you're still using voicemail. Well, I guess leave a message if you want.
Yeah.
That's how I knew he didn't like messages, because I was like, I was going to leave a message.
I had one all queued up in my head.
He's real hipstery like that. He's a total hipster. So, Janelle, you don't like being on the telephone too much either.
I don't like it, and I can't tell you the last time I've left a voicemail. I really hate that.
Oh, God, I do that all the time.
I hate
So what if a friend of yours calls you up on the telephone and wants to run through their stand-up comedy routine to get your take on...
Not happening.
Thanks for everything, Janelle.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks for popping by,
Absolutely.
as always.
Wonderful to see you. It sounds like you can't join us Friday at the fair.
Son of a bitch.
I'm
Bummer.
so sorry, you guys. I wish I could.
We're going to get you fired so you can join us anytime
Okay, deal.
that we want.
We're going to call you on the phone now from the fair because we know you hate that.
There you go.
This texter asked for a birthday shout out to their badass aunt. I hate ketchup Jesus. Happy birthday. Happy anniversary to Half Pint Jesus, who's put up with retired Eagle Keeper Jesus for 31 years now. I love Lake Life Jesus, texting a happy 31st birthday to his wonderful daughter, Kaylee, and then happy 40th to Matthew from Bobby Joe.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.